this. All right, let's see. Oh shit! I was in the middle of it. Goodness gracious! Oh, really quickly before we go, as we're going live here, Blake and Jayla, without any spoilers, Didge is he's currently downloading it, but let him know what to expect from the Evil Dead game.
Oh my God. There's not too much to spoil, luckily. I'm having a blast. Pro tips for playing as a survivor, make sure you're working as a team. That's going to be the key to winning. If you're working as a team, it's really easy to win. Pay attention and look into the different classes because they definitely operate differently. And I prefer playing as demon. It's a lot of fun.
All right.
Oh, also on the challenges, good luck. You don't get saves, you don't get checkpoints. Look into guides for the 6th one because I did fine until the 6th chapter, and I had to get a guide to help me out.
The first one gives me trouble.
Dude.
No, just to reiterate what Jayla said, if you don't work as a team, you won't win. It's really that simple. You can't do objectives by yourself, and play every character you can because everyone plays differently. You'll figure out who you're best with.
You know what? Fair. Since I'm seeing that we got Sundays usually off, this group, usually we're somewhat free around this time on Sundays. We should find a game and stream it together.
God, that'd be so much fun.
I vote for
definitely.
Evil Dead. I will be the demon. I will be the bad guy and let you guys try and take me down.
So not even we're all on the same team. You're like, no, I want to be the person.
Jayla's like, yes, I'm the demon.
It's so much fun, dude. I love it because basically you're pretty much a DM. You're setting up traps. You're setting up enemies. You're trying to inconvenience the team as much as you can. It's a cool strategy. Strategic. Thank you. I can't speak today. Spot to be in.
Gotcha. Okay, so I know Didge has PlayStation. Blake, you have
cross-platform.
Yeah,
it's
cross-platform.
Yeah, one of my buddies, he has it for his Xbox, and that was one of the reasons I got it because I was like, all right, we can play this.
Okay, then it looks like we're gonna have to stream together one of these weeks.
I
can't wait for that. So yeah, we'll definitely talk more about that. But I just wanted Didge to get some because I know you guys. If you guys got through it, you know what I'm saying. You guys are the two perfect people to just let Didge know what to expect. You know what I'm saying? You guys are raving about the game.
This is so good. If you need tips, feel free to hit me up. I have
enough.
30 hours into it already.
Oh wow.
So
and Blake, we're definitely gonna get into Lego Star Wars at some point.
Oh, very good.
I definitely want to get into Lego Star Wars. So we'll talk about that. But welcome everybody to an all new episode of GVN RoundTable. I don't think we were here last week, right? Last week it was Mother's Day, right?
No. Last week
I think we just had an off weekend.
No, last week you did. Then you do don't make bets.
I don't remember.
Or was it the week before?
Might have been a week before. Even though, if I'm being honest, it's out of my head that any of that happened.
Okay. That's fair.
But specifically, I do think we had last week off. I think so. It's blending. Anyway. Welcome back. This is going to be a really fun episode, as you guys see from the title. It's going to be somewhat Marvel heavy. I just thought we'd do something Marvel heavy heading into Thor's trailer dropping tomorrow during the NBA playoffs. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We will be going live to break down every inch of that trailer tomorrow night. So don't worry about that. Literally every inch of that trailer, especially if we get gore. I'm going to need to...
I might take a break from work just to talk about it with you guys because I'm excited.
Oh man, it won't be until about. So I'm on the East Coast, so it'll probably be around if the game starts at 8 or 8:30 tomorrow, 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Oh, that's
maybe.
Perfect. Yeah, you're good. Yeah.
Unless they just because they're promoting it with the basketball game, so it might be later on tomorrow night. But we will be assembling a crew to break down that trailer for sure.
I'm there. We got the legend figures in at work, and I was just gawking over them.
I got all of them, except for the Thor in his armor. I just don't like the face sculpt of it. His eyes look weird, so I just said no to that one. But I assembled what's his name? Taika's character.
Korg.
Korg. I assembled Korg. I got I got Ravager Thor, Star-Lord, Groot, Gore,
Mighty
Thor, and King Valkyrie. I got all of them. Fucking beautiful figures. How the Thor figures came out on time, but I have to wait for my Moon Knight figures till next year, I'll never understand, but that's my whole issue with Hasbro. Yeah, that's my whole issue with Hasbro. And look, Jayla, I thought of you because I pre-ordered the, because I thought this was like the dopest concept for a figure. They did the anniversary for Homecoming. So they released the Peter Parker and Ned 2-pack.
Oh my
set.
God.
It comes with book bags. They both have book bags. They're in obviously plain clothes. Ned has from that scene in Homecoming where he put on the Spider-Man mask.
Yeah.
You could change the head to where he has the mask on.
Oh my God.
It doesn't come out till December. It doesn't come out till December. I don't know what's going on with Hasbro.
Yeah, I keep all that stuff too because Stranger Things is coming up, and I'm always shooting things up to get ordered for the store because maybe partly for me, but it's fine. A lot of the Stranger Things stuff isn't coming out till August, and like the second half of the season comes out in July.
Right. Yeah, that don't make any sense. But I did want to tell you, Jayla, I didn't get a chance to tell you yesterday, but we will be doing a breakdown show of the first half of this new season of Stranger Things.
I'm so excited.
Because I didn't want you to think like no one cared on GVN about Stranger Things. I definitely do. I will be breaking it down. I just don't know when. It has to be when I know everyone finished the first half, Because I'll finish
Obi-Wan doesn't take over your life.
No, Obi-Wan's only 2 episodes. So what I'll try to do is, obviously I'm going to watch those 2 episodes, 3 a.m. Friday morning. So Saturday, I'll just donate. Saturday, I'll donate time to watch the Stranger Things. Because if I don't watch it then, Kenobi will take over my life.
See, I knew it.
I have no time for anything.
I'm off that. But I'll be good.
All right, perfect. So I'll see where you guys are at in our assessment of breaking that down. But all right, let me introduce my panel before we get started with our topics. Starting off with Trayvon. What's up, Trayvon? You just gonna keep having that fucking Hulk in your background, ain't you? You just gonna keep spitting in my face.
Sacrifices. Huh? Look what he did. Look at that. Look at this.
So we just gonna ignore that Natasha died, Gamora died, Stark died. We're just gonna none of that happened to you.
Semantics.
Gotcha. Okay, got you.
Sorry.
All right.
Hey, it's a sacrifice. I don't know.
Oh man, I do just want to add really quickly. I think people forget when Hulk snapped, it just brought back dead people. When Stark snapped, it literally defeated Thanos. There's a difference. I'm just saying. There's a difference. But how you doing, Trayvon?
I'm doing good. I literally just now I'm ready. I was as you were talking, I was getting ready. So now I'm ready. I went through the list and now I'm good. So yeah, I was panicking. Good night.
I love it. All right, next up, Jayla. Welcome back, Jayla. What's going on?
Not much. I'm having a good time. Exciting weekend. My best friend in the whole world is visiting this week, so that was really cool.
Oh, nice.
Gonna go take them to go see Doctor Strange because they haven't seen it yet, so that's gonna be really cool. But yeah, I'm having a blast. Evil Dead came out, feeling good, feeling on the up and up. It's been a good time.
Absolutely, and I'm happy for you to see someone else experience it for the first time, knowing how much you loved it.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm so excited, and there's a lot of cool stuff in the works as well that I'm excited about that's going on this week.
Yeah, that's a great feeling. Because I remember talking to Blake and Sabrina when I first met them, like seeing how much they appreciated the Batman after like I thought that was literally like the greatest thing to ever happen to me ever, was so much more gratifying because it's like, okay, other people see it the same exact way. This is, I'm not crazy. Because I left that theater with Joel and my dad going, it was really good, but the greatest thing ever. And I'm like, the greatest fucking thing ever. So seeing Sabrina's Twitter just flood with like the greatest experience ever, I was just like, okay, I'm not crazy.
My people.
I'm not crazy. Right, I'm not crazy. I knew other people thought this. But speaking of which, Blake, what's going on, Blake?
Nothing much. I'm seeing Men tonight, finally.
Ooh, okay. Okay.
I have no expectations because I've avoided every trailer I've just seen the poster. I don't even know what it's about. I'm kind of unsure on genre. I guess it's horror, thriller.
Oh, it 100%. No, it's 100% horror.
Yeah, I have
100%.
no idea what it's about or anything, what it looks like. So I'm very excited. It's rare when you get to go into a movie blind these days. So I'm looking forward to that. And Trayvon's background reminds me of a very heated debate with Sabrina last night about Avengers Endgame. I've discovered our opinions on that movie vary greatly. And we just agree to disagree.
I'd say, Blake, the biggest argument I always have about Endgame is I always tell people, like when my family comes to me and they're like, hey, you know, I heard about this Endgame movie, like, should I watch it? I'm like, of course, but the first hour and 30 minutes are the most bored I've ever fucking been in my life.
Nope.
And that's not what I ever want from a sequel.
I feel like I disagree.
It was just nothing but just bogged down in story. And it's like, bro, I just experienced Infinity War. I know the story. Progress it and get to the just nonstop action. Like, just move me past.
I think it depends on if you love the characters, like those characters that you're seeing.
There's not one character in this movie I don't love, but I just don't need to be bogged down.
Like the aftermath of the story, though. I feel like it was like this felt like the come down of like, because the way Infinity War ended, everything was at such a height. You needed that come down. And
I did not.
I felt like I did.
The way I watch Infinity War and Endgame back to back is as soon as Infinity War ends, I pick up when these motherfuckers go back in time. That's when I start Endgame. Okay, I don't start it from the beginning. I start right from hands in the middle. Everybody's going back to where they need to go. Because the rest of that is just like, to me, it's just like, okay, all right. Like I said, to me, that's what I expect. That's what I would have expected from Infinity War, to be bogged down in story. And then Endgame is just nothing but almost 3 hours of just pure action, right? That's what I want from my sequels. I never want, like, what was all this explaining for? I get it. All right, now go find it.
Infinity War is a sequel.
Infinity War is a sequel. To what?
I mean, technically it is.
To what?
Avengers. It's a sequel.
Technically it is. I mean,
okay. If you guys want to see it that way. If you want to see it that way, I guess.
I mean, I wouldn't even say it's Iron Man. I'm saying even in the Avengers series, technically, since it's the third one.
Not really. And that's what's been strange about these Avengers movies, is that they're usually, if you want to say they're a sequel to anything, they're a sequel to whatever comes out right before them. Because you look at Age of Ultron, nothing about that movie outside of the creation of Vision, really.
I guess if
anything narratively for Infinity War, except for obviously the end credits.
It would be probably a sequel then to Civil War. Maybe that's the closest.
I give you that. Yeah, I give you that. But we also do view Civil War as an Avengers movie, so I'll give you that. Also.
Yeah, because it definitely is an Avengers movie.
100%. But Blake, we gotta talk about that at some point. I am curious. Because you were shaking your head a lot for what I was saying. So was that the biggest thing? Was
no,
that one of the things?
There are many things. Like that's there are a lot of things. First of all, she doesn't like how Cap's story ends, which I know is often debated about that movie. About how certain characters are treated. I agree that the first act, at least, of that movie is pretty slow. I don't know, necessarily boring, but nothing happens. It's just talking for an hour and a half. Because I just rewatched it the other night, and it opens with stuff I'm interested in, and then an hour goes by, and I'm like, oh wow, they're really still talking about just where their life has been, and we're like, haven't seen you in a year. Please just Avenger up. So yeah, I still like the movie, but
because I mean. That was the biggest thing that bothered me, because I'm so used to people telling me like, oh, The Godfather is so boring because it's just talking. And I'm like, so we not gonna act like the first whole arc of Endgame is nothing but one long ass conversation about your summer. Like, yo, what'd you do last summer? Man, let me tell you. I turned into Professor Hulk. Like, I did this. Like, it's just like, all right, bro. Put this in a comic book, or a tie-in comic or some shit. Like, I'm not here for any of this. But yeah, you know what? I will give you that. Maybe boring is a little bit too much, but I'll tell you the truth. I fell asleep. I fell asleep the first time watching.
No,
I was just like,
look, you know what? I honestly, guys, listen, I didn't find it boring at all because a lot of my favorite parts when it comes to the Avengers is seeing them interact.
Yes.
Like let's say in even Age of Ultron, which I know is like a bad word when it comes to the Marvel movies. I like Age of Ultron. I'm sorry. I know. But when they're hanging out and they're just talking to each other, I love those moments. And I really appreciate that we got that with
I love
Endgame.
that you said that, Jayla, because that was just one singular scene. One scene. That wasn't an hour and 30 minutes worth.
What about Civil
That's
War?
what my problem is.
Civil War had a lot of them just interacting.
Definitely did.
Not that long-winded.
At
Like,
the same time,
longest...
Civil War had great pacing.
Right, and I think the
I won't
longest
disagree the
conversation
pacing
they
was
had
off,
in
but I
Civil
enjoyed
War,
it still.
I think the longest conversation they had in Civil War, if we're talking about individual moment, is when they were arguing right after they found out about the Sokovia Accords. And they were arguing about it before Steve got the call. That was the longest just sitting there doing nothing but talking that you had in that movie. Everything else was kind of just moving you. It was moving
Honestly, I think
this
I'm just a big simp
still.
for the movie. I can't lie. I'll just excuse it because
I love
the build up for it and the experience of everything leading up to it and the experience of watching it that first night. My godfather came to town and it was this huge deal for us. So the pacing's a bit slow, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed being able to have all the extra moments. It didn't really bog it down for me.
I just view Endgame the same way I told you guys I view Doctor Strange. Neither one of them are bad movies by any stretch of the means.
Uh-huh.
But it's just a lot that bothered me, took away from all the really good shit that they did in it.
Really?
It's not like if someone said, hey, I was thinking about watching Multiverse of Madness. Should I go? I'd be like, oh, no, you'll hate it. No, of course I'll talk the movie up. It's not a bad movie at all. But if you're asking me Endgame or Infinity War, I'm taking Infinity War every single day of the week because I feel as though the job was harder for Infinity War. You're introducing a whole new concept to fans, right? Mm-hmm. And the pacing was so flawless and the action was nonstop.
Also, Infinity War feels like a whole movie. Endgame always felt like part two, like the butt half of a larger story. So
no, that's true. I agree.
I would pick Infinity War too, though, just because the ending is something I think more people should have to deal with. Is that fact of you lost,
right?
And that's just it.
But see, that's what I appreciate because think about it. You start and end the same way, and that's what no one ever talks about. You start with Thor losing. You end with Thor losing.
Yeah.
Think about that, right? Yeah, you start with Thor losing and putting all the pressure on him of, I lost Asgard. I lost my brother. I lost my best friend. You know what I'm saying? I just lost my home. And then you end with Thor thinking again, all right, I won. Nope, now you lost half the world. Half the universe. The universe, right. So to me, I'm just like, the burden was so heavy on Infinity War. And because that movie lived up to the hype, Endgame was able to be literally whatever it wanted to be. Because Infinity War took that blow, right? Because picture if fans didn't react well to Infinity War. Now you're Endgame, now you're like, well, shit, I got to double down on this. I got to backtrack on that. Infinity War, I believe, was the hardest to pull off. It was. It really was. Because to a lot of people that don't read comics and stuff, they're watching these people disappear like, no fucking way. What? They just brought Spider-Man in. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I think the burden out of the two is definitely Infinity War. And the Russo brothers had to put a lot of fucking elbow grease into that. Then you get the Endgame and you're like, bro, we did the hard work. Now let's just have fun. Let's bring it where everyone's going back in time. Everyone's coming back at the end of the movie. Big, beautiful spectacle and everything. It takes a lot of the burden off of you because of how successful and well done that first one was. But again, Endgame is a phenomenal movie. I'd watch that over fucking Age of Ultron any day of the week. From start to finish, I'd watch it Endgame over
I would too. Yes, for sure.
And my biggest problem with Age of Ultron is just you fucked up Ultron. You fucked up the whole reason I'm here. The whole reason I'm here is for Ultron. And
the Ultron bots looked better than Ultron.
Yes, which was weird.
That's true. They really did.
And you wasted James Spader. That's what bothered me the most. You wasted James Spader. Yeah. One of the greatest voices we have today, and you just made a Tony Stark duplicate. On me. No, that dialogue was awesome. That was lit. No, that was. I agree. But also, I think the biggest problem I had with Whedon was he definitely marketed that movie to be a lot spookier.
No, he did. That's so true.
It was haunting.
That trailer was insane. Oh my god! I look. The trailer was kind of better than the movie, but I love that.
100% it was.
No disagreement.
That's a horrible sign.
I can watch the trailer all day.
Yo, I'm picturing Josh Whedon talking to J-Lo like, "Hey, what did you like about Age of Ultron? Your trailer." What?
That I think would be I think that'd be a good topic for next week. Trailers that are better than the movies.
Oh yes, it would.
Because already a lot just came to my mind.
100%. All of the Transformers after number 1.
Even the first one.
Every last one.
Well, have you seen the first one?
It might even be one. Yeah,
it might be number. Because look, I'll tell you this, and we're gonna get into favorite MCU show. I'll tell you this: one thing Michael Bay has the greatest talent of all directors ever is he can market some shit. Every Transformers after number 1, I was sitting there watching the trailer like, bro, this is fucking beautiful. This is the Transformers I grew up watching, reading. I can't wait. And then I sit there and I'm just like, what?
No.
Product placement.
What did you do? Like, product placement. What did you do here?
Product placement.
Shout out to Blake. That's a great. Hold on to that, Blake. Make sure you don't forget that. That's a perfect topic. A perfect topic.
I have some things to say about Transformers. So yes.
Man, yeah, I can't wait to fully shit on it. Go ahead, Trayvon. What are you gonna say, Trayvon?
I was just listening to you guys, talk about Age of Ultron. I mean, I guess it's hated, but it's like I didn't know how Ultron was supposed to be. So when I watched it, I was like, it makes sense for him to be snarky like Stark. It makes I enjoyed him. I thought it was funny. He cut armor. Ooh, I'm so sorry. It was that stuff was funny to me. I was like, no,
look, like, I told you, you always will get a pass from me when you started off that way. If you don't know, I can't fault you for not knowing. But the whole biggest thing about Ultron was when he was created by Hank Pym, he was supposed to be devoid of all those said emotions, like being snarky, being sad.
Shout out to What If, though.
Yeah, shout out to What If. Right, yes, just like White Vision, devoid of everything. He's not supposed to have a sense of humor or snarkiness or anything. You essentially just created an evil Tony Stark that looked like Megatron. That's essentially what you did. That's not Ultron. You know what I'm saying? So, but again, I appreciate you because, like I said, if you ever tell me like, hey, I didn't know, so I enjoyed it for what it was, no arguments here. No arguments here. It's only when you tell me, I think that was a perfect way to do Ultron. That's when I got to come in and go, all right, Trayvon, relax. But all right, welcoming in Didge. What's up, Didge? I already said what's up. No, I didn't say what's up. What's up, Didge?
Not much. I'm ready to talk this, and then I'm ready to eventually later play the Evil Dead game. That's been on my mind all day.
Yeah, you got to make sure we keep in communication so you can tell us how you're doing in that.
Definitely. So I'm sure I'll tweet out my frustrations as I usually do with a lot of things.
Yeah, so you got that going. I got Valhalla downloading. I want to finish that and play the DLC. So
Valhalla, wow, yeah, it's a big game to take on. My dad 100%ed it. I don't know how. There's so much stuff in that game.
Oh, I have so many questions for your dad. I have so many questions. That sounds impossible to me. 100%?
Yeah.
I didn't even think I'm at 80% yet.
Look, I don't know how he did it. Don't ask me.
I see. I don't want to. I will call you at some point just to talk to your dad. JT Custom says at least they did better with Ultron and What If. Yeah, for sure. All right, let's jump into it. Let's start off with our favorite MCU Disney Plus show. I'll go last. I'll start with you, Jayla. What's been your favorite show out of the 6 so far?
Oh, geez. This has been something that I've been kind of like thinking about because it's really hard for me to pick. I have a handful that I love for really distinct reasons. Wanda Vision was a full experience for me, even though like everyone was wrong on all of their theories. I love trying to dig in and figure out the mystery. I love the what they used with the different shows and explanation for that, and why each episode was a different sitcom. I adored that so much. And What If was just fantastic. The overarching story, the way it was built up, the stories they picked, especially the Doctor Strange one. And, you know, we all know that I love Moonknight, but overall, I think I want to say Moonknight just for acting alone. Oscar Isaac absolutely killed it, and I love seeing him just do his best work, even though of course there are some things I wish we got more of. But I don't think that one of the best criticisms I can give something is, oh man, I wanted more of that. So yeah.
Right. And as I pass it to you, Blake, I did some digging, and it seems like Werewolf by Night will be a hour, almost about an hour, but like a one-off. So not a series, not a movie.
Yeah,
literally
it's a Halloween special.
Right, just like a 30 to 45, maybe 52 minute, just special. So I'm like, the likelihood of them putting Moon Knight in there sounds unlikely, because it's just too much to put in just one small special. Like, all right, here's this character for the first time. Here's Elsa for the first time. Now here's Moon Knight, and it's like, whoa, wait, what? Like, huh? What is he doing here? You know? So I think
like
it's
if
just
anywhere he's gonna be in Blade.
Dane Whitman will be in Blade, that's for sure. That'll be confirmed at some point soon. Moon Knight, I don't know. Moon Knight might be one of those really interesting ones that they might wait for something like Ghost Rider or something like that, like something else. Because we've got no information on Blade whatsoever, and that starts filming into this year. So we'll know more. A lot more, especially closer to his investors meeting around the fourth quarter. So we'll find out some more information soon for sure.
Blake didn't like your answer of that. He left.
He left. He said, "Oh, no Moon Knight and Blade? Shit.
We don't. No Moon Knight Sanders allowed at
He
all.
said,
No.
"I am out." He said, "Y'all got me all the way."
You hit him where it hurts.
No Moon Knight. Yeah, my bad, Blake. My bad.
I want Moon Knight to be in everything as well, so I can't blame him.
Look, me too. I didn't mean that in a negative way. No, all jokes aside. Trayvon, I'll go to you next. What's been your favorite MCU show so far?
One I enjoyed since the very start was Hawkeye. So that's the only one that I feel like has been very consistent, and I enjoyed it all the way through. Like I said about Wanda Vision, I didn't enjoy the first couple episodes. I almost sound like you do for Endgame. What is this? Like I was like, come on, let's go. Like that's how I felt about WandaVision. Falcon Winter Soldier, it would have been it if the first episode didn't happen. First episode they weren't together. What's the point? I need y'all to. It's called Falcon. It's called Falcon Winter Soldier. I don't need y'all apart. That's how I felt. That's why that show don't get it.
Wait, no. All the title is supposed to tell you is that they're both in it.
I know. No,
that was it. It didn't have to be they would be together.
I was promised, or I made myself think that it's supposed to be like a buddy show.
See?
From the start.
Here we go again.
What do I keep telling you about your headcanon, Trayvon? I keep telling you.
He hated what I said. He left again.
It's a dangerous thing you keep doing, Trayvon.
But
I'm shocked that you went with Hawkeye. I thought people fighting each other and then just randomly having a fucking barbecue in the middle of a season. I thought you would love that. I thought you'd go right for
a show that I can start right now and just watch the whole thing is that all these autos, I'm gonna skip a few. So it's like I'll skip the first episode of Falcon Winter Soldier. I'll skip the first 3 of WandaVision. So it's not like Loki. I don't even know where I would start with that because I had a lot of problems with that.
You don't like Loki?
No,
I loved Loki.
I like the character. But I do not like the show.
You know what? I'll defend it. I will be the Loki defender for this episode.
Okay.
You might have to be.
That's fine. I'll stand by it. It's a good show. And it's not my favorite one.
Him still breathing is
oh my god. Issue. But Owen Wilson was in it. He was great.
It's not enough. That's not enough.
It's enough for me.
He was
That's not enough. And then what where they doubled down on it was now you got people thinking goddamn Kid Loki will be part of the Young Avengers. And I'm like, y'all didn't double down on this shit that we got to get 2 whole generations of Loki. Really?
I don't think Kid Loki's going to be a part of the Young Avengers. Don't worry.
I hope not.
There's no way he is. There's no way.
There should be no way he's a part of anything anymore.
Like
if he's not with Thor, get him out of here.
That was great.
No, I would say the best thing that I got out of that was obviously He Who Remains and seeing the Living Tribunal's head there and then seeing it again in Doctor Strange. So that was cool. But outside of that, that Loki show, season 2 needs to be a series finale for the character, the story, everything.
I really don't know.
Complete watch.
Complete watch. I'm very curious to see what that season 2 is even like about.
Probably picking up right after where the last one left off.
Why?
I mean, it left questions for sure.
It did. That can be answered in Quantumania, not season 2.
No, but it's different because remember,
I know
Loki works in a pocket with no time, right? Where time means nothing. So Kang could have been ruling over the TVA for thousands of years in that pocket. So when we see him in Quantumania, it's like, well, did you just land here? Did you land here years ago, days ago, hours ago? So unfortunately, the Loki show did leave questions that need to be answered. Yeah. I'm just saying after you answer them, don't create more. End it. Put a period. Not a comma, a period. Wrap that shit up. What was it from the Chappelle show? Wrap it up, B. I got to get the box. It says wrap it up, B. All right, so Trayvon, you went Hawkeye. Yep. Jayla, you went Moonknight. All right, Blake, now that you're back, where are you going for your favorite show?
To surprise nobody, I'll say Moonknight.
Hey.
It is very close though, because I always loved Loki. I think that's the one show that I think fit the 6-episode format, like actually naturally. Like it felt like it was meant to be 6 episodes. And I just rewatched it recently and actually went up in my MCU ranking, which was nice. But when it comes to Moonknight, it is not a perfect show, but I had so much fun with every single episode. It's like, not only do I think it's a good show, but just I associate it with having something fun to look forward to for 6 weeks straight. And I also did get that with Loki. That's why I kind of want to put them next to each other. But I love Moonknight as a character, and I think the show did him justice. And like Jayla said, I want more from him. I hate that it ended where it did, and I want to see this character explored more. I want to see the street level side of the character.
Yes, absolutely.
Hopefully, yeah, even more of the supernatural side of him. So yeah, easily Moonknight.
Yeah, I could definitely see how that would definitely go towards Moonknight, but also you're wearing a Mr. Knight shirt, so that also helps.
Yeah, I think I knew my answer before we started.
Right. So we got 2 Moonknights, 1 Hawkeye. What are you going with?
Loki. So it was awkward listening to you guys talk about how much you hated it. I loved Loki. I loved the series from episode 1 to 6. It was fun jumping around to the different timelines, seeing all of the different variants, just seeing the story unfold. And then and obviously I think everyone loved the ending to seeing He Who Remains and that entire monologue. That episode, there hasn't been many things in like that I've watched that I can just listen to someone talk for basically 45 minutes and be like, this was engaging. This captured me. So like I said, just from start to end, I loved Loki. It's so wild to hear so many people say that they didn't like it.
Again, I want to reiterate, for me only, because I know Mr. E in the comment section said Loki was boring for him. Loki's not a bad show. Nothing about it is bad. I just don't like that you've kept this motherfucker around long enough to become a hero. What? What are we doing?
He did kind of do a genocide.
Yeah, get him out of here. That's all. That's my only issue, is that the longer he stays, the more it makes it hard for people that aren't Marvel fans or just MCU fans to accept the new person that will fill that role, right? Whether it's your Doctor Doom, whether it's your Namor, whether it's your Magneto. you just make it impossible, right? Because Loki, to everybody that's just MCU fans, that's Loki's role. That's Loki's role. And as long as he's breathing, they'll always hold the door open for him. Kill this motherfucker.
He definitely took
You're
the
ready to
opposite
stand up to yourself. You're ready to just like.
I am ready, man. When he said, Sylvie, you're gonna have to kill me. I said, Sylvie, do it. Do it. Kill this. Do it.
I will
do
say,
it for
yes,
hop in there
you are right. Loki is the embodiment of the opposite of that Dark Knight quote. He lived long enough to see himself become a hero.
Like what?
I'll give you that for sure.
Goodness gracious, that's my only issue. And then it's like, all right, if you do want to keep Loki, I have no interest in Loki without Thor. I have no interest in Loki's character without Thor. Put him with Thor. Why we gotta make it so difficult?
I would assume at some point, if they're keeping Loki around forever, at some point they have to bring him back with Thor. Like at some point, it's just you kind of have to. It would be really weird if they didn't.
Now, here's the problem, right? You've killed Loki 3 times and he's come back to life. So now it just makes it seem like this motherfucker will never die because how will fans accept it? It's like, oh, he came back last time. You know what I'm saying? You don't put yourself in a position now to where he will live longer, I believe, than the MCU. When the MCU is like, all right, we're done. We're not making movies anymore. Well, look, and we'll be like, everybody's dead. Wait, Loki? How is he still here?
Well, he exists outside of time now, you know. So
what?
Loki can be he's Loki eternal.
Loki eternal. Oh my god.
That is my issue with the show, not the show. I thought the writing was cool. I thought the pacing sometimes was spotty. I thought the writing was hit or miss sometimes. But the core aspect of the show, I did not hate anything about it. Just stop with this.
Just the fact that it was Loki. I can understand that.
Damn. Jeez, come on, man. Let's just get ready for a Doctor Doom show, right? Let's get ready for a Namor show.
I can
get ready for these things.
Dream of a Doctor Doom show. Dude, I say this anytime we talk about Doom, but he has gotten the bad and the stick. Like every time, consistently, they've messed up Doctor Doom, and it's so frustrating because he's one of the best villains. Point blank. Period. I don't
agree with that. I love the original.
No, I'm not saying he was nerfed though. You can't say that he didn't nerf him a bit.
No, in the second one, he seemed a little too OP. But he had Silver Surfer's board and everything. He had like god power.
I'm just saying. There's potential
I believe, to be better. I believe he wasn't accurate enough. I believe he wasn't accurate enough. I'll give you that for sure. I want a truly accurate Doom. I also want them to incorporate the fact that Doom at no part of the comics was ever with them when they got their powers.
Exactly.
I would like them to kind of give us that. But I do think they should. I think if Kevin Feige wants to really keep Marvel fresh, he should let Doom be its own movie, and then give some kind of
Doom petty.
Oh, 100%.
You have to.
But you got to start off with Latveria. You got to start off with that and start off with the fact that he just thinks he's better than you. Simple. Very simple. Very simple. And then the best petty off will be the moment Doctor Strange and Doctor Doom meet each other. And it's just like, no, fuck you. No, fuck you. Like, that's just what the two of them are just going to do the whole time. Where Doom finds out about magic and all that. It's going to be lovely. But I think Doom should have his own movie, right? And then the end credit scene is him meeting Reed Richards. And then it starts into that. Because I think the first Fantastic Four movie should be, I think it's Mole Man? Not Mole Man. Is it Mole Man?
The name of the villain?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mole Man.
Yeah, Mole Man. I thought so. I would go Mole Man, Nihilus, then Fantastic Four. The third movie would be Doctor Doom. That's how I would do it. That's how I would do it. Same way I would do the X-Men. I would do 3 X-Men movies before I even put Wolverine inside that group.
Oh man!
Just so people that don't read comics or anything. No, I think Feige was saying he wants to do the X-Men drastically different than we've ever seen it. And if that's the case, then that means giving me the actual OG X-Men team, and there was no Wolverine.
No, there
Wolverine
isn't
at all.
I would
all
love
the ages have always been so off
before.
with the teams too.
Right. What were you saying, Blake?
I would love to see Wolverine before he joins the X-Men, like a Department H movie they send him.
100%.
Maybe not to go after the Hulk these days, unless they rectify the Professor Hulk
It could be a
thing.
prequel. It could be a prequel. I was saying I would really love a situation to where Hydra is trying to take down this facility that they heard about that is trying to essentially do what they did with Bucky. And they hear about Weapon X and the Weapon X program, and they send the Winter Soldier to go destroy that facility. And in that facility is Sabretooth, Wolverine, Lady Deathstrike, and Deadpool. And we get to see kind of essentially Hulk versus Wolverine, but essentially with the Winter Soldier. So it's the Winter Soldier fighting essentially the Weapon X.
My hopes are way too high now for.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, like I said,
Wolverine.
I could 100% write 90% of these, but they could also do a prequel. Remember the whole time after Incredible Hulk where he was in like Brazil?
Yeah.
When the movie ended, he was in Brazil trying to find like his inner peace. You could 100% have it that Wolverine or Logan was doing something out there and ran into him and they had a beef. Or just do what the animated movie did, where S.H.I.E.L.D. essentially just hired Wolverine to find and stop the Hulk. And that's what it is. So there's a billion ways you can go that makes perfect sense. It doesn't have to be forced in. But I do want them to separate the X-Men and Wolverine. Shout out to Joel. He was saying since like 98, 99, so many people have been thinking X-Men is just Wolverine's name. And that's a problem.
It is.
You got to separate the two for a long time. I don't mean long time like 20 years. It at least should be a good 2 movies the X-Men have before you even come close to bringing Wolverine. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. Full on. I really do.
Would you say, Trayvon?
Good luck with that.
You're saying good luck, but if you're Kevin Feige, you've already shown that you could sell a universe off characters that people don't know.
Kevin Feige does not care about expectations.
Not at all. Not at all. And it's honestly not a hard thing to sell, especially if you're telling people you'll get Wolverine, just not with the X-Men right away. That's essentially what you got for the new trilogy you just had that Fox did. No one complained about Wolverine not being there. They complained about them being horrible movies, but not the fact that Wolverine wasn't
First
there.
Class was good.
First Class was great.
Yeah,
I enjoyed all.
First Class was good. Well, before we go away,
Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix are the only ones you can make fun of.
No, First
I
Class.
make fun of Days of Future Past. I make fun of that movie every time.
Yeah, Days of Future Past was when it was starting to go downhill.
Because you ended that movie. You ended that movie with Wolverine going back to his reality, which was an old ass Charles Xavier and the rest of his team. Then you start a whole new franchise with the same Wolverine and all young children of that same version. So it's like, well, what the fuck? What?
At least
what
they
was
retconned
that?
Last Stand.
Like, what was that? They did retcon Last Stand. Thank
At
God.
least they retcon Last Stand. So that's why I love Days of Future Past. And you can't take that from me.
I will not try to.
Even if it's just because they retcon Last Stand, that's worth it. That's so worth it for me, honestly.
I'll say this.
The road cut as well.
The what?
The road cut.
What's the road cut?
The Rogue cut is great. It's the extended cut of Days of Future Past that includes Rogue.
Oh, yes.
We need more Rogue in general, by the way.
I agree, but I also agree Rogue should have her own series. I believe we should get the X-Men of the OG X-Men that came in the yellow X and black suits.
No, give me the yellow suits immediately.
Or the yellow. No. The yellow suit should be earned. I want it earned. But I want Rogue to have her own show. I want Storm to have her own show. Because, again, Storm wasn't part of that original team either. So I want any character that wasn't a part of that original team to have their own series. And then let it culminate together. And then you give me a movie where everyone's together. And
another
Mr.
Avengers
Sinister should be the villain.
situation.
Yeah. And Mr. Sinister should be their villain. For sure.
All
the only
right.
one we haven't seen.
All
the only
right.
one we haven't seen.
Mr. Sinister.
Mm-hmm. Give it to Mr. Sinister. And then from there, the second one, you can do Magneto. And then the final one, you could do Apocalypse the proper way. But Apocalypse has to be built
Oscar
up.
Isaac shudders.
Right. He goes, oh, you're doing it again? Not me, though, right?
That wasn't Oscar
Moonknight should
Isaac.
have a cameo
Sorry,
just
guys.
for a
That's
joke.
another dude. Oscar Isaac had nothing to do with Apocalypse.
That was Isaac Oscar.
Fantastic.
Look, I don't
disguise
argue
with a
with you.
mustache.
I don't
Right.
argue with you because I tell people all the time, Paul Giamatti wasn't in the Amazing Spider-Man 2. I don't know what you're talking about. Paul Giamatti was nowhere near that movie.
It was
I
a
don't know who was
newcomer.
right.
He didn't work out. I don't know what
Yeah.
you mean.
I don't know what happened. I love Paul Giamatti way too much for that to be on his credits. But all right, let's. For me, my favorite MCU show is shocker, Falcon. No, of course not. It's definitely gonna go to. It's gonna go to WandaVision, and it's gonna go to WandaVision purely because I believe that show took a huge risk. Right, that show was heavy in dialogue, very light in everything else. And if that writing wasn't as crisp as it was each week, you would have lost half your viewers. Half your viewers. No action, just dialogue. That's really what that shit was. You didn't get really extreme action till the last episode. But more so what I was hanging on to every week of like, all right, Mephisto. All right, not this week. All right, Mephisto. All right, she said devil, Mephisto. Where is Mephisto?
Oh my God, I don't want to remember those. Did you see that? Did you? It's the Hexford. Oh God,
yeah.
I have nightmares of those.
I hate everything about it. But the one really cool thing that did come out of it was, I think I said this before to you, Blake, that Joel was telling me. He's like, they'll never bring back Quicksilver. So what he thinks they'll do is they'll just, instead of it being Wiccan and Speed, it'll be Wiccan and Quicksilver. He'll just take on his uncle's code name. Because remember, we never got to see Pietro become Quicksilver. He died before he got a name. So he died Pietro. So I'm like, we can't have a speedster and never have a Quicksilver, so just name him Quicksilver. So I'm like, a lot of those little nuggets definitely popped into my head. So I'm like, the WandaVision show, man, it did a lot. It did a lot. And before Moonknight came into existence, I believe WandaVision dealt with mental health in a real serious and important way.
The one episode of that show I liked was episode 8.
What was episode 8? Let me think.
That was
how
the
many
grief
episodes?
episode.
How many episodes were in that season?
9.
9? Oh, the one where
Okay.
it ended with Agatha kind of locking
Yeah, you
her
see
up.
her backstory. Yeah. She creates the house.
Yeah, got you. And look, I still stand on the fact that because I know a lot of people were pushing back when I was saying this, but I do believe that nothing about Wanda's past in that episode indicates that her father can't still be Magneto. Nothing at all. She's a child. So when everyone's like, well, they showed her parents. No. They showed you who she thought was her parents. We have no idea anything that happened before that exact moment. Magneto could have had his kids taken. He could have given them away. There's a whole billions of things that could have happened. So I'm like, the door is still open for that. It's still open for that. All right, let's move on. Mr. E has a lot to say here. No YouTube. I will not get YouTube TV. Stop asking me. They do ask a lot. Let's see. Yeah, Loki is only interesting when he's with Thor in the comics. Here, at least, they try to expand him a bit more and give him a role you don't usually see him in. But that's my issue. Don't do that. It's a villain. That's not what you do with a villain. That's what you do with a hero that maybe has a smaller role that you expand. I just wish it didn't feel like filler when it wasn't. As long as Galactus is not a fart cloud, again, I'd be happy with anything they chose Galactus. Well, they got off to a rocky start because I did not like how Dormammu went. So we'll see how they unfuck that one. Ralph was the worst part. Wanda wouldn't care about Magneto, to be honest. Why would she? Why wouldn't she? I don't understand that. Why wouldn't she? I don't understand why she wouldn't care about him.
Goodness.
If she finds out that's her actual father, and again, the biggest problem with even thinking about the connection between those two characters is I don't know how you introduce the X-Men. You know what I'm saying? There were rumors like 4 years ago, that they might make Xavier and Magneto black. So I'm like, well, if you do that, you're already not going the route of him being her actual father
At all. Otherwise, or it just got weird.
Or it just got super weird, very weird. So I don't know. I don't know. I'd rather just wait to see how they introduce the X-Men, then I can better wrap my head around how they can pull that off. But all right, let's move on. All right, now this one I thought was interesting. And Blake, I'll start off with you. Who is your standout newcomer from these Disney Plus Marvel shows?
Sorry.
I really don't want to be predictable and I want to change it up. But I also don't want to lie. It is Moonknight.
I'm about to say which
Okay.
one.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Jayla agrees. My favorite side of Marvel is the horror side of Marvel, like
Absolutely.
Moon Knight, Blade, Werewolf by Night, all that. So Moon Knight is just even more so like we are headed in that direction. Like he fought the Egyptian jackals, and of course we'll see him with Blade at some point, if not in his own movie, because of the team that Blade's putting together, whether it be Midnight Suns or anything else. But not only do I just love the character of Moon Knight, that he's finally in the MCU, but that the connotations that he comes with is just opening up the horror side of Marvel and the threats that he could bring out. Like we could someday see Ghost Rider and even more Man-Thing, which I would really love to see. Very underrated character.
Yep.
And just I love Oscar Isaac as Moon Knight. Like I thought he fit the role pretty well, and I like Steven too. I know some people find him annoying, but I like him. He brings, of course, he's not the Mr. Knight that we know from the comics, and I can live with that because I still have Mr. Knight in the comics. But for the show, I think he brings a good balance, and even by the finale, he's going to change over time. Like he's already on board with the fighting and everything. So a character that starts off at this point with only room to grow is really exciting. And I want to see him team up with any more Marvel characters, because the show is so disconnected from the MCU. Like now they have me craving the MCU connection now that we've gotten past this. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure. And it will be interesting to see if we get Swamp Thing or Man-Thing first. Because they're working with J.J. Abrams on DC's Dark Universe. We already got a possible Constantine casting. Zatanna will come next. So it'll be interesting to see if Marvel gets the Man-Thing before DC gets the Swamp Thing. That'll be fun. But yeah,
I just missed that show.
Are they redoing something?
Yeah. It's not a continuation. Yeah, it's not a continuation. J.J. Abrams is building his own Dark Universe, so Constantine might be black.
Interesting. I missed all of that news.
Yeah, Constantine might be black. We obviously got Gwendolyn Christie as Constantine and Sandman.
Right.
So that's really interesting.
Wait, no, I thought she was Lucifer in Sandman.
She is Lucifer. I don't know why I keep making that mistake. I don't know why. It's the hair.
I just thought about that. Okay.
It's the hair. I make the mistake every single time. It's the hair.
Okay.
But no, the rumor does have it that we possibly have a casting for Constantine.
Oh, you know, black. I did hear that rumor because I saw someone saying when they heard that, they were saying they hoped that it was Lakeith.
I don't see that. And I kind of need him to be British.
That's fair. That's very fair.
I think that's very essential to the character.
I just remember seeing, that's what made me remember that I did see that, because I saw someone, they posted, I forgot what picture it was of him. He had like a long brown coat, and I was like, oh, I hope that this is who they're going with. I was like, oh, okay. All right.
It's not. Sorry, guys. It will not be that. Lakeith will have something, and it will be something special, but Constantine, I don't think it needs to be that. If he wasn't British, Lakeith could pull that look off in his sleep. I give him that. All right, Trayvon, who's your standout newcomer in these Disney Plus Marvel shows?
I'm excited for Monica. Excited to see what develops from her. Yeah, I'm just really intrigued. I can't wait to see her in the Marvels. So, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. I'll get to your comments, Mr. Ian, in 1 second. Monica, yeah, very standout character. A lot of questions that need to be answered, whether it's in Secret Invasion, whether it's in the Marvels, wherever it's going to be. A lot of questions need to be answered about the fuck did Nick Fury call her up to space for? What? She literally just got her powers like a day ago. You saw that shit already? It was like, yeah, you gotta come up here. What the fuck? So yeah, that'll be interesting. Look, Msmarvel too. She's gonna be in the Marvels. Like, Is Captain Marvel, is she just looking from space straight down like, oh, her. Yeah, let's get her. I like her. Yeah, she's cool. Let's go grab her. I don't know how that's
Retire or
gonna play
something.
out.
I don't know. Like,
That's what she's trying to do. Yeah, Brie
she's like,
Larson's
all right, I'm trying to be out of this. Bring
like,
them
yeah.
here.
She's like, yeah. Look at this. You can go her. You can go her. Not me. I'm out of this. J-Lo, who's your standout newcomer to the MCU shows?
It's Moonknight. It's Moonknight. Yeah, I can't. This character from comics, first of all, is someone that I adore. I love his stories, and what he could bring to the table is super exciting for me. I hope that we get to see more soon because I want to see more of Jake and see how that plays out.
I want my suit. I want my suit.
You saw what I sent you. They
it.
said if Jake got one, that's what they're gonna get it. Yeah.
I want it, and look at all that blood on him. I want all that blood, all of it.
Kevin Feige's like, no.
They're easing into it. I'm telling you. That's how
I want an episode. I want an episode where he's just drinking it and it's pouring all over his suit. That's Moonknight. That's Moonknight. But Didge, who you going with? Who's your best newcomer at these Disney Plus Marvel shows? Yeah.
Monica, yeah, I'm like Trayvon already said a lot. I'm really excited to see where her story goes. So we've already talked about it pretty much. So
yeah, I mean, Monica is a very fun character, and again, they were never going to do it with Monica, so I'm glad they did it with her mother. Monica in the comics did become Captain Marvel, in that exact suit that her mother wore in Doctor Strange. So they were never going to do that because it's redundant. So why not play with it in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness? I appreciated that a lot, even though I would have appreciated it more if they just used Monica. But I think it would have been too confusing for people. But I'd very much like Monica. Can't wait to see where she goes. And again, I'm very curious if Carol Danvers' radiation is what got Maria sick, is what gave her cancer. Because I believe
that'd be a very dark movie.
That would be very dark.
Only reason I think they're going there is remember with Jane Foster. We believe that an Infinity Stone living inside her body gave her so much radiation. It's what's going to give her cancer in Thor: Love and Thunder that's slowly killing her. She had the ether inside her. So I'm like, it's very possible Maria and Carol were doing a mission together and you were just exposed to just too much of her radiation and it got you sick. So I'm like, because Monica hates Carol Danvers with a passion. So I'm like, what could she have done? It can't be, oh, my mom was working with you so much she wasn't here for me. It's like, well, you can't blame Carol Danvers. Like, that's not my fault. That's you between you and your mom. So I believe it's maybe something like she got her sick. And that is something she can blame on Carol Danvers. And they'll go that route. To me, I think that's just perfect. It would explain all that hate that she's just holding for that character. So
I thought it was partly abandonment. I mean,
it was a what?
I thought it was partly abandonment, you know.
But then I'm like, you should hold that resentment for your mom. Like, I didn't hold her captive and say, come save the earth with me.
No, but she abandoned. Remember, they were close too, and she essentially.
Oh,
maybe
I see
she
what
never
you're
came
saying.
back.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That Captain Marvel movie didn't really explain a lot about that goodbye properly. So I'm
assuming, I just assumed that she hadn't seen him because that was said in '96, right? Something like that.
Something like that, in the 90s, yeah.
And so I assume she just, after she left for that, like, even though we know that she came back to Earth during Endgame and everything, the assumption seemed to be that she hadn't been there since.
Right.
So, that's what, 20 years of abandonment.
Yeah,
she didn't even go look for them when, if they snapped.
During the snap.
Well, we don't know. We don't know that.
I'm saying maybe
that's what I was assuming.
I don't know, because that's why I said the Captain Marvel movie is so confusing, because it ends with Captain Marvel making the beeper for Fury and saying, only call me for emergencies. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, if you told him that he can only call you for an extreme emergency, I assume that would have been the goodbye you gave to Monica and Maria. Like, hey, I'm not going to be around for a while, but if you ever need me, just call me. And then I could go with the aspect of maybe Monica did call and Captain Marvel never showed up. I could understand that, but I'm like, if you're telling her like, hey, I'm out saving the rest of the universe, at some point you got to kind of let that go as an adult. Like, I was saving people. As a child, I get it. As an adult, no, you should definitely let go of that.
Abandonment issues. Sometimes, you know, that's
I guess.
That's hard to deal with. Yeah.
I guess. All right. For me, my standout newcomer, I'm gonna break the rules a little bit. I know you guys are gonna be mad at me for breaking the rules, but I believe this character doesn't get enough love, and I cannot wait to scream about this character from the mountaintops. I'm going Kamala Khan. I'm going Kamala Khan. I've been singing her praises since that Marvel game came out. I've been singing that girl's praises.
The Avengers game?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I can honestly say she was the best part of that game.
Yeah.
100%. So to me, I cannot wait to see how she's brought in. The whole powers thing, I don't care. I'll worry about that once the Inhumans come around. I'll worry about that later.
Have you seen some of the pictures?
No, what I did see, Trayvon.
They like.
No, she does still do the embiggening. But what I did see from the new trailer that they put out, like the new little teaser clip, is that her mom brings out like all this old stuff from somebody in their family, and the gauntlets were in there.
I saw that
clip. So it doesn't seem like she's exposed to anything. It seems like the gauntlets are like a family heirloom that just unlocked something that's in her already, right? So to me, I'm like, well, then that still leaves room for the Terrigen Mist to happen, and it fully brings out your power set. So to me, I'm like, yeah, you could easily do that. And again, I'm not with people that believe, well, they're giving her the gauntlet so they don't confuse people for Reed Richards. Bitch, I watched the whole Green Lantern series with people that do the exact same thing. They put a fucking ring on and just point it. And everyone understood that. So if you can understand that, she does things that he can't do. He does things she can't do. End of the story.
I'm more the idea her powers just cosmic, like Captain Marvel, and like.
I don't think. Her being like. An Inhuman. No. I'm not arguing that because I don't know. I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying the better route to go is her being an Inhuman in the future, because that is the whole point of the character. The Inhumans were never welcome. They live on the fucking moon, so it's like. It's her trying to adjust to being an Inhuman. So I'm very much hoping that they go that route. What are you saying, Trayvon?
That'll be cool, but I kind of like how her powers are in this, from what I'm seeing right here. I don't want just plain stretching. I don't know. I think this is cool. Like she can make constructs, make shields and stuff. At least that's what I'm seeing from the trailers and stuff. It looks cool. I was like, this is really an advancement. It's really cool. It is. It don't have to be like the comic book all the time. Let it go. Like, this her powers look cool. Okay?
Oh, okay. No problem. Absolutely no problem. Captain Marvel will never fucking fly again. How about that? You cool with that?
God.
They already showed it in MCU.
Nah, it don't matter. She'll never fly again.
What do you mean?
Cool with that? You cool with that?
No, I mean, I'm sitting here fine when America Chavez not flying. She's just walking around.
Because she don't fly, Trayvon.
I've seen her fly. She ain't doing it, and it's fine.
My God. All right, we're moving on. All right. Let's see what they're saying here.
You walked into it, so.
Magneto hasn't been in her life at all. She only had her brother, and he got killed. Lost Vision, lost her children. He wasn't around. To her, he'd be nothing but a deadbeat dad. Again, I can't go down that route till I see how they even bring in the X-Men. If they say he's been here the whole time, you could go a billion different routes for that.
I don't know how they're gonna do it. I'm really interested
I cannot how that's gonna happen.
There's an easy way, and then there's an unacceptable way.
I don't.
The easiest way is that we've had a civil war before.
We can't do that.
That is the easiest thing ever. What are you talking about?
Just on the island. In the comics, that's
exactly where they live. That's exactly where they live.
So I would think the easiest way would be to use the snap to say that awaken these latent mutant genes in their body.
That's what I thought.
Can't do that. What makes Eric and Charles so special is the lineage of where they come from.
That's fair.
So
but
I bring it modern day, you can't do that.
I think you lost too much time.
I don't think so. I think if you say that there was like what Wanda did in Civil War, there was a more accurate accident that happened, like we know in the comics, where the mutants exploded the bus with the children in it. You could go that route, and S.H.I.E.L.D. at the time deemed them to be too dangerous. So instead of trying to eradicate them or whatever the case may be, they found somewhere for them to live in peace. And the deal was you cannot come back over here. because in the comics they have their own island that they live on. So to me, Nova Scotia, I think, is the name of the island. So I'm like, that's perfect. Put them that they lived on the island.
Nova Scotia, isn't that a?
That's
Not
Canada,
Nova
isn't it?
Scotia. Not Nova
I was gonna
Scotia.
say-
I know you're talking about something. Yeah.
I can't think of the name. I can't.
Genosha.
Genosha. Thank you, Genosha. That's
Oh,
where I got
yes,
mixed
that
up.
makes more
Genosha.
sense.
So yeah, they could have signed a treaty to where that's where they've been this entire time. So to me, I have no problem with that. But when people are talking about, have them come out of like a portal and they from a different era, like, no, that's lazy. That's lazy. That's too lazy. Get creative with it. And creative is not just they come out of a
them men
portal.
on the island 20 years ain't lazy.
Trayvon, if it was a treaty
I'm
that
just
says
saying.
you can't come back here,
But
no,
all
that's
of a
not
sudden,
lazy.
they've been on the island this whole time. Like, that's not.
It's not all of a sudden, Trayvon. You're looking at it like Kevin Feige had these characters for 20 years.
I get
He
that.
just got the characters.
That's why I do not understand how they're gonna do it. I cannot wait to see because it's
All
really I don't see it.
Well, making them in today is not the way to go. That's not the way to go. That creates more questions than it does answers.
I agree as well. I just
If he does come into the MCU, he better have a good excuse. Again, it's Magneto. Magneto never gave a fuck about his kid, so he doesn't really need a good excuse. I'm here, love me or hate me. I don't give a shit. Kate Bishop for me, yeah, she was gonna be someone I was gonna pick. It was between Kate Bishop and Layla, but I didn't go that way. All right, we'll get to that in a second. You ever heard about the theory of X mind wiping everyone's knowledge of mutants and only mutants are around Charles' school? I mean, that's also a way to go, but it wouldn't explain all the bad mutants. Like you magically wiped every mutant in existence. That's a stretch, even for Charles Xavier. All right, let's go to least favorite MCU show. I'll start because it's very quick. Falcon and Winter Soldier. That show constantly made no fucking sense week after week. It was redundant and then became confusing and then ended with, what the fuck? What? Like, I legit saw a scene where who we thought was the villain was receiving a text from the power broker, only for the season to end with the power broker and her knowing each other. It's like, well, then why are you texting her saying, if you don't return my shit, I'm going to kill you? If you knew her, why not just set up something and just squash that shit? Like, so much of this show made no sense whatsoever. If Sam didn't have that sexy ass suit, that show would have been the hottest form of garbage I've ever seen.
The suit
in
really
these
did
Disney
make
Plus
it for
suits.
me.
It made everything. If that suit was even slightly below what it needed to be, I would have just threw the whole goddamn thing in the
I
just
was
don't
so
like- you just don't
excited
like
for
Sam.
his suit and his entrance.
I just gave Sam
forget
a
anything
compliment.
bad
You
about
hate
the last
him.
episode.
Wait,
Genuinely.
say it again, Jayla. I'm sorry. Say it again.
I was so excited, like overjoyed with seeing his suit and his entrance for that last battle fight that I completely just like forgot any issues I had with the show. I mean, it was pretty good. It was great. And now looking back, I'm like, okay, I love the suit, not the show.
Yeah.
It was
Not
a suit
anything
power
else.
on me. It had a hold on me,
And-
man.
And I think, and again, this was more so me setting myself up, but I thought what would have been the perfect ending for this show is that Sharon goes through everything she goes through. She kind of goes off to the side to take that phone call she took on the stairs. And after she hangs up, you see her turn into a scroll. And it's like, that makes all the
That
fucking
would have
sense
been
in the world.
beautiful. I was
That's
kind of thinking
perfect.
that though.
Yeah, I'm like, that's perfect. Now she's infiltrated herself into the government, right? She could be in the Secret Invasion show, and now she has a high political job where she could do all this crazy shit as a scroll. And when it was just like, nope, no scroll, and it was just like, wait, what? So no, I didn't like anything about it. U.S. Agent was pretty cool. They stayed as accurate as they could with that character. But too much was changed up from the power broker. Too much was changed up from the U.S. Agent. It just snowballed into a whole
Zemo should have
bunch
been
of...
the main villain.
Zemo, thank you for reminding me.
Uh-oh.
This motherfucker brings his mask out to put it on to shoot a rocket and then takes it back off to never put it on again.
That's all
What
you
are we
need it for. It's his
doing
rocket
here?
mask.
What are we doing? Like, so many problems with that show. But the biggest thing I will say to defend that show is it wasn't supposed to come out when it did. It had a whole lot of COVID restrictions, whole lot of COVID issues. You can even see some of the VFX was messed up for it. Some of the dialogue didn't line up. So there was just a lot of problems with that show. But to me, I know when people were celebrating, like, oh, Sam's getting his own movie and they're bringing the writer back. The first thing I said is, so we're ignoring the writing of the whole season. Like, that was good writing to y'all? All right. So when it underperforms, I don't want to hear it's because Sam is a black Captain America. I want to hear it's because that script was shit. So that's my least favorite show. I'm going Falcon and Winter Soldier. Fucking hot boo-boo garbage. Didge, what's your least favorite show of the MCU Disney shows?
I'm gonna go with Hawkeye. It's not like I dislike the show. I actually liked all of the MCU shows. It's just the one that I enjoyed the least. I have nothing really bad to say about it. It was super fun. It's just I enjoyed the other ones more.
Yeah, I think most of these MCU shows, outside of maybe Wanda Vision, maybe Wanda Vision and Loki. Yeah, Wanda Vision and Loki. They just created questions that were just unnecessary. Like the questions of the Power Broker were unnecessary. The questions of the Watch in Hawkeye was unnecessary.
Yeah,
like, so much of these.
I will give you that. Yes, that
like,
the ending with that was like, what was the point? Well, like
she literally takes the Watch back and is like, "Thank you." Turns it around and it's like, "Oh, so you were Mockingbird. So is there any particular reason that couldn't have been dialogue or
right?
Or like Kingpin sent somebody to your house and she's kicking ass and we're like, oh shit, she's Mockingbird." Like, there was a billion cooler ways to do that than to make the main narrative to find the Watch, only to retrieve the Watch, and his wife was just like, "Well, thank you." What?
Like, I feel like she was like, "Thanks," and just threw it on the mantle. Like,
yeah, she
cool.
was like, "All right, yeah,
Tossed
all right,
it off
cool.
the side.
Yeah, it's no biggie." And at no point when we saw Kingpin did he seem interested in that Watch at all. No scene did you hear Kingpin like, "Did you get the Watch? Did you get the Watch? Did you get the Watch? Anyone have the Watch? Where's the Watch?" Didn't even bring it up. So it's just like, what are we doing here with this Watch?
Yeah.
But Hawkeye is definitely the one that definitely, it just didn't have any lulls for me, like any down moments where I'm just like, oh my God, move it along. Like, I felt like everything paced well. Everything was really cool. They just put in a whole bunch of shit that was unnecessary. Putting in Jock was just like, what are we doing here? You just
like
put him.
Said,
you put him in
I
here
enjoyed
for what?
the series for sure. Like, you brought up a very good point with the Watch. But like throughout the series, it was the one going in, and I thought I wouldn't like going into it. I was like, I'm probably not gonna like this. I'm not a huge fan of Hawkeye as the character, and I didn't know much about Kate Bishop. And I'm like, I'm sure she'll be an upgrade, but it's like it's still a bow and arrow shooter. I really don't really care about bow and arrows too much.
Yeah,
but
that's
it was
Feige's
a fun time.
Yeah, that's Feige's fault. He did not start Hawkeye off good in the MCU.
No, not at all. I think
by the time you got here, people were just like, I don't care.
From there, it was just I really don't care about Hawkeye.
Yeah.
But like I said, the series itself was fun. I liked the fact that it was really set during the Christmas time.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole story of wanting to get home, so really wanting to get home by Christmas and like doing everything for that. But like I said, just overall, it was just something I was like, I'd rather rewatch some of these other series before I rewatch that.
That's fair. I think where they could have gotten off better and made Hawkeye just stand out more is if it took place during that 5 year span. So you got a lot of him as Ronin, right? Where you got that ruthless killer, rather than just the guy that just wants to retire, be a stay-at-home dad,
right? I think,
because you kind of reverted back to all the things that made people uninterested in Hawkeye, like. All right, what does he do? Bow and arrow still? Did he kill people? No? Yeah, no, thank you. So, yeah, I agree with that. Because I'm like, some people don't know the ultimate Clint Barton. The ultimate Clint Barton, he was picking his fingernails off and flicking them as projectiles. Like, that Hawkeye was fucking badass. And I love the ultimate suit with the goggles, the scarf up, and the crossbow. I love that look for Hawkeye. So I'm like, there's a lot of really cool things that they could have done, but look, it's now being passed on to Kate Bishop, so we don't really have to worry about Clint Barton all that much. Now you just got to make Kate Bishop cooler than you make Clint Barton. So
they did show some cool different arrows, though. I will say that, like some of the different arrows that he was using during this one, I was like, oh, that's cool. They should have shown that before. But all right,
would have been nice, Didge. Would have been nice. Feige just really did not like Hawkeye. But
maybe he doesn't like Hawkeye.
I don't think he did. He started by villain. What? Like, yes, you villain. I like it. But Jayla, what's your least favorite MCU show so far?
Geez. I need to rewatch it, but I think I was just kind of disappointed by Hawkeye. I was a bit disappointed. I was a bit let down. I was pretty excited when the Kingpin thing was spoiled for me, so it wasn't a surprise. I was a bit disappointed by Kingpin, just a little bit. I kind of wanted more from the story, but I am going to rewatch it because maybe it'll hit different in the second round. It wasn't a bad show by any means. I did not have a good time with it. I think I just was expecting a different show, and that might have been my own doing, as taking it down a few notches. But I'm kind of stuck between Hawkeye and Falcon and Winter Soldier, really. But Hawkeye has the potential to redeem itself. Falcon, yeah. I do wish they interacted more, honestly. I kind of wish they got build their relationship.
And what's funny? What's funny about you saying that, Jayla? Like when Endgame ended and everyone was just like, no, we're Steve Rogers, bring him back. I was actually like, yeah, how are you going to do this with Sam? I'm interested, right? And I'm still interested how far they go with Sam being the new Captain America.
And what sucks is it's not like they didn't have good points on Sam being Captain America, and they had
100%.
moments that were absolutely stellar. It's just they
100%.
didn't build on those moments. They built on different moments that were irrelevant.
They did not.
So they had all the correct bits of the soup, but they just just ignored it. They're nah.
I haven't missed Cap more than I have when I got to the finale of Falcon and Winter Soldier. I just went, damn, y'all really do need Steve. Like, y'all really are not really interesting without, like, I went back and watched Winter Soldier and I was just like, everything about Bucky and Sam that I love is their interactions with Steve. And I'm watching Falcon and Winter Soldier over again. And I'm just like, some people just can't carry their own. They just can't. And it seems like you guys maybe cannot.
I think
maybe you need Cap. Maybe you need Cap.
The bit with US Agent was a stellar moment for the MCU. Mm-hmm. It was absolutely unexpected. It was insane experiencing that. But yeah. Also Bucky trying to get with Sam's sister is hilarious still.
Yeah, that will always be funny. Thoughts on the portrayal of Isaiah Bradley? I thought Isaiah Bradley was cool. I thought a lot of that interaction was kind of, as someone Black, a lot of the dialogue in that show felt weird. Like
very on the nose.
It also felt like I've watched a lot of Black things that weren't written by Black people.
Yep.
And this felt like that. This felt like somebody that's never really experienced the Black experience that was writing it. And I'm like, I don't like any of that. Like, even his like Disney Channel moment at the end where he was just like I'm Captain America. Like, I was just like, oh, I don't. Was that them
trying to do the like plant your roots and stand against?
Essentially, yes. That was what they were trying to do, and I felt like it was just underutilized.
The Isaiah Bradley, his response to when he was telling him that he's Captain America, the way he responded was like, all right, that's very something that my uncle or somebody replied to me with. So like, that part was true.
To me, like I said, I think if not for COVID and they had more time to kind of flesh this out, and I'm also curious if any of these Marvel shows, because I've never heard of it, if they have any test screenings for any of these shows. I don't think they do.
I don't think so.
I don't think they do. And I think that would help for some of these shows is for you to give it to a test audience and let somebody be like, hey, it is not working, dog. Like, go rewrite that shit. But Blake, what's been your least favorite so far?
Mine was What If. I think there was a lot of missed potential when it came to what they could do their episodes on. And my biggest gripe with it is a lot of their episodes were just, here's a retelling of one of our movies, but we're going to tweak a detail.
Right.
Like, I wish they went really outlandish with their ideas. Like, the first episode was just Peggy in place of Steve for the entirety of First Avenger. And I was like, that's kind of underwhelming. Like, I wanted to see her do something that we've never seen before. And my favorite episode, the Doctor Strange one, even then opened just kind of like the first Doctor Strange movie, but ended up being a very well written movie or episode. So I'll give it that. But I loved Ultron as the villain of it by the end. I loved that he noticed the Watcher and had a really awesome fight with the Watcher. I didn't love the finale. I thought it was okay seeing them all come together and fight Ultron. I was just kind of underwhelmed by the finale, but I love a lot about the show. There's not a show that I straight up dislike that Disney Plus has done, but yeah, week after week I was just like, that was fun, and I'll never think about it again.
Yes, that's true.
The extent of
Yeah,
it.
I do have to say the worst What If episode for me was a zombie one, and only because of two things. One, Stark didn't fly up in the air. He was on the ground fighting with the rest of the team when the Avengers got bit. And I'm just like, well, the whole point of Stark is that he can fly. Why wouldn't he fly in the most important time to fly? That's one. And then two, my biggest issue was it ended with Thanos in Wakanda waiting for them to come to Wakanda with the last stone. Now, for anyone that needs a memory boost, in Infinity War, he only went to Wakanda because that's where everybody was. There wasn't anybody in Wakanda in that What If episode. So it's like when he showed up there with his army, why Wakanda? How did you know to go there? No one was there yet. There was no Avengers there. There was no big fight there with the stones being there. How'd you know to go there? Yeah. Again, some people are just like, who cares? But to me, I'm like, you're supposed to be replicating what happened in the movie, but that didn't happen in the movie. Vision was there. That's how he knew to go there, because he just, where's the stone? It's there. Made no sense to me. None whatsoever. So I didn't like that at all.
Other things, Bucky cracking a joke right after he had to kill Steve felt really weird. Like they just had to throw a joke in there. And I hate to say it, but a lot of the MCU actors just aren't voice actors. Like some of those lines, I'm sorry, Sebastian Stan, I love you as Bucky, but you are not a voice actor.
No. Yeah, sometimes you can't hit right. Like Chadwick is one of the rare ones. Like he was awesome.
He did a great job.
That episode was great.
It was, man. I cried watching that whole damn thing. Just like, damn, I miss this guy.
Right.
I miss Chadwick.
And I just love how they did that story. Just if he became Star-Lord,
right,
half the stuff wouldn't have mattered.
Everything would have been great. It's all Star Wars' fault.
Right. Thanos was a really cool dude. Like,
the fact that he was able to talk Thanos down, I was like, oh, this is amazing.
Yeah. That lets you just know the power of the Black Panther. Ultimate Hawkeye is dope. That speech at the end just dragged me and felt longer than it should have been. Yeah, it also just felt like one of those after school specials. I still want to know who was a genius who landed on the bridge full of thousands of zombies on both sides and who affected Thanos. Yeah, all questions that were never answered from that What If episode. Never.
Yeah.
Trayvon, I see a little background. That's cute. Oh, look at that. Zemo wearing the mask for the one time we'll ever see him wear the mask. That's groovy.
Oh,
what was your least favorite MCU Disney Plus show, Trayvon?
I already said it earlier, Loki.
Loki?
Yeah. I only probably put like maybe 3 episodes out of the season I like kind of liked.
Now, why? Was it because of too much dialogue, not enough action? Like, what about it just didn't hit for you?
I just like I don't know. I just at the end of the day, I was like, what was the point of this? Except Kang at the end. That was like the only thing I was like, oh, this is really cool. Finally, we get something out of this show. Like the concept is cool, I guess, but it's just like, I don't really care. Like,
yeah, one thing I always think of when I'm watching these shows is, to me, I like the illusion of feeling like no other character could have done this, right? Like you watch Moonknight and you're like, that's Moonknight. You couldn't have put Deadpool in that situation. That's Moonknight, right? Watching the Loki show, I'm like, there's like 90 million different characters that could have done this exact same role. And it would have made just as much sense. Just as much sense. You know what I'm saying? So that was my biggest issue with it, is that I didn't feel as though it was specifically unique to just him. Like if I just changed the DNA of it, I could have made that anybody. I could have made that Zemo. I could have made that fucking TVA, you know what I'm saying? Yes. It could have a TVA featuring Loki.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, I won't disagree on that. All right. Next up, Jayla, I'm gonna start off with you. Favorite upcoming MCU Disney Plus series. If you need me to bring up a list, I definitely can. We got the I Am Groot special, I believe. We got the Christmas special. We got Werewolf by Night special. We got Spider-Man freshman year. If you want to go over to live action, we got Msmarvel, She-Hulk, Secret Invasion, Echo, Daredevil now. That's pretty much it. Feige's going to give us a shit ton more towards the end of this year. But what's your favorite upcoming so far?
It was just announced, but easy Daredevil. It's easily Daredevil. It's Daredevil. That's why I'm excited. I'm excited to see him back. That's all I want. I want Daredevil like now, immediately. Yeah. Please.
I mean, look, you can't go wrong with that. And look, now you didn't open Pandora's box because now Trayvon is sitting there. Like, y'all ever see that episode of American Dad where they were looking for the principal? His wife was looking for him, and she had the gun outside the window, driving slow, looking for him. That's Trayvon, so he gets the announcement of Jessica Jones and Luke Cage.
I'm absolutely with them.
He's like, all right,
Kevin. Heroes for hire, honestly.
Yeah, Heroes for Hire would be really. I told you, Jayla, I want that visual shot of Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and Spider-Man on top of the scaffolding eating hot dogs.
Once we get that, I know we've made it.
Oh, 100%.
That's when it becomes 100%. Your comic book.
They could tell me a comic's heading towards the Earth, and I would say, all right, let me get that moment in Batman 2. And then whatever you want to do, you go ahead. You land on Earth. But let me get those 2 moments, and I'll be a happy camper. Didge, what upcoming show are you looking forward to the most?
It was Secret Invasion, and then I forgot Daredevil did get announced. So yeah, it's Daredevil.
Okay.
But since Jayla talked about it, I do want to talk about the excitement for Secret Invasion. I think that's going to be something that's pretty interesting and cool, especially since it's set during the 5-year timeline, during the blip. Because I think this is the first thing, and correct me if I'm wrong, that would be set during that.
Yeah,
it might be She-Hulk. It might be She-Hulk.
Might be She-Hulk. That's right.
Oh wait, I just thought of this. It takes place during the 5 years.
I thought that's what it said.
That's what the rumor is.
Oh, okay, was it still just rumor? Okay.
Let's play around with it. Let's say it is true. That makes absolutely no sense. Let me tell you why. Your headliner for that show is Nick Fury. He damn sure disappeared.
He sure did.
So I'm like, that's you telling me that Nick Fury is a Skrull. That's you telling me that your title character.
We found that out.
No, time out. Spider-Man took place after everyone was brought back, and he wasn't gone. He was just in space. He had somebody else just filling in for him.
But what if he was a Skrull the whole time?
But that's the saying.
That's a whole nother conversation to have. Now, is what I'm saying.
That was sort of the I was gonna say that was sort of the at least for people that I know, that was the prevailing thought was okay. That means
that. I'm just saying you've now spoiled that because I thought it was taking place current day, right? And it's now Nick Fury trying to navigate who's a Skrull and who's not. But if it takes place during the 5 years, the first fucking Skrull is Nick Fury. Like you're starting with Nick Fury as a Skrull. So I'm like, that's the whole point, Trayvon, of the Secret Invasion. And
Maria, I think
both of them.
Because they were both in space.
Right. Mm-hmm. So the whole point of Secret Invasion that made that comic so popular is it was the suspense of who is a Skrull. You telling me 2 out of the 6 names that have been confirmed so far are already Skrulls? Well, then what? So I'm like, I kind of hope that's not true. I kind of hope it's maybe outside of the 5 years. Because he definitely was blipped. So I'm like, well, what the fuck?
I feel like it has to be because they wouldn't blatantly show us that he was blipped and show us that he was a Skrull. So I think for sure it has to be not.
I hope so. Blip. I hope so because that
it might be before when Captain Marvel came and they discovered Skrulls, they became at peace with them, stuff like that. It might be a little bit after that, maybe something that around those lines, but I don't think it's going to be.
I know it said it was gonna go through like his past and stuff like that, so like it's supposed to tell more about his character as a whole. So I could still see it because you got to figure just because he's working with the Skrulls, if we are assuming that he's basically been in space since Captain Marvel, then you still got that issue. Like nobody else knew that Nick Fury was.
Wait, hold on. No. I don't believe he's been in space since the events of Captain Marvel. I'm saying he's been in space since he's gotten back from being blipped.
But that's the thing. When I know, and obviously it hasn't been confirmed, but I know a lot of people who wonder at least if because that's sort of the last time that you know for sure that there was a human Nick Fury. They're like, well, when did he go into space? And obviously, when people just try to just deal it with, this is the last time we knew it, so we're gonna say since then. It's sort of like that.
Yeah. Again, Marvel's timeline is always shaky, but I'm like, again, if you're telling me Secret Invasion takes place what, a year, a few months after Endgame, it makes all the sense in the world. It makes all the sense in the world that he's putting together a universal task force that can kind of see these threats coming from a mile away. That's essentially what SWORD was supposed to be, was it was a more so alien task force to deal with things like Skrulls, Super Skrulls, possibly Thanos, shit like that. So I'm like, I could see him coming back, and then the events of Endgame is what shook him. Like, fuck, I can't do SHIELD, right? Because that's more government. We got to do bigger. So I'll do SWORD. In the comics, Nick Fury had nothing to do with SWORD. That was Captain Marvel and someone else. I can't remember her name. So I'm like, it makes all the sense in the world that maybe Captain Marvel started SWORD, and then when Fury came back, she just brought him up into it. That to me makes all the sense in the world also. And we could actually get that explanation because Secret Invasion comes out around the Marvels.
Yeah.
You know, if not like maybe a few months before, if that. So I'm like, that could be explained then, but you know, we'll know more info by the end of this year because they've been filming.
Right.
They've been filming, so that should be wrapped by the end of the summer, heading into the fall.
I think filming is done.
You sure?
I remember seeing something they said filming finished. Let me look it up real quick. I thought it was like late March, maybe early April.
Oh, okay.
It says filming would have ended in April 25th. So not early April, but April 25th. So
all right. Yeah, so I'm gonna piggyback off you. That was what I was gonna go to. Because I already told you guys I'm looking forward to Msmarvel, so I'm not gonna I don't need to double down on that. Secret Invasion, but I'm not looking forward to anything we've been talking about. I've been waiting for my entire life for Super Skrulls. I want Super Skrulls. That's it. That's all I'm here for. That's all I'm here for. The fact that Nick Fury didn't die in Winter Soldier and become a Skrull, and be filled in by a Skrull, I'm no longer interested in Nick Fury being a Skrull in any capacity. So for me, I'm here for Super Skrulls. That's it. That's all I'm here for. That's it. So that's all I'm looking forward to in that show. I don't really know, because I'm like, you can't make any major characters Skrulls like they did in the comics. So I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I'm not really looking to the big shock and awe of like, oh, they were a Skrull. Like, no. Yeah. You know, no.
Iron Man's still alive? They just
right?
killed
Like,
a Skrull
what?
in Endgame?
Like, what? Like, yeah, no. No interest in any of that. I don't need any of that. That's more confusing than a multiverse. So
they're part of the Illuminati that we don't know about.
They probably what?
They're part of the Illuminati we don't know about. And it's just
can't have it yet.
Running around.
You can't have it.
Running around. That'd be funny.
Wait, if the Illuminati was the Skrulls, is what you're saying?
No, I'm saying Iron Man is part of the Illuminati. He's just been at least dead, and the Skrull was actually killed. It would just be funny. Just a thought. Just to think of the craziness they could do.
It was meant to be a joke, but there is a Illuminati file on Stark's phone in Iron Man 2 when he's in that press meeting and he's searching through his phone before he brings up the shit on the screen. There's the Illuminati tab right in the corner of it.
Oh boy!
It was meant to be a joke at that point, but it was to look towards the future, I believe. But to me, I don't want to hear any mentioning of Illuminati when I don't have a Charles Xavier, I don't have a Reed Richards, I don't have a Namor, I don't have any of your important characters to assemble.
Well, we do have them, we just don't know if we have them.
Did you just say we have them but don't know if we have them to have them?
I'm saying they're already there. We just haven't seen them yet.
We don't know that though. I don't know that.
I'm being.
Oh, I thought you were really saying.
I'm saying that would be an interesting twist. If they are around, we just don't know. That would be cool.
It'd be a hell of a shocker to me to see how they pull that shit off. All right, so I went Didge, Jayla. Did I go you, Blake?
Not yet.
Okay. What show are you looking forward to?
Honestly, Werewolf by Night. I don't care if Moonknight's in it or not. I love werewolves, and just the rumor that they may be using an actual practical animatronic werewolf to go off of for that show is so exciting. And just the fact that it's going to be a Halloween special. That's going to be such a fun thing to watch around that time. It's going to be Marvel, and we'll potentially see also Bloodstone and maybe Blade, maybe some other characters. But like, just if they focused on Werewolf by Night, I would be more than happy. So definitely that one.
Yeah, and like I said before, I want to see Elsa Bloodstone become part of the Midnight Suns. They need some more female representation. I wouldn't mind Layla being part of that group and Elsa Bloodstone being part of that group. I would love that.
I would say she's like confirmed. It's got to be Blade, Black Knight, Elsa, Moon Knight at this point. Maybe Ghost Rider.
And definitely Ghost Rider. Wait, did you say Ghost Rider already?
Not yet.
Yeah, Ghost Rider.
I just mean of the characters we have at the disposal at this point.
I got you.
Yeah, but I want Ghost Rider there. He has to.
Yeah, 100%. Ghost Rider has to be there. Has to. And Doctor Strange, again, as I try to remind people, is never part of a specific team. I think the Illuminati is the only team Doctor Strange is literally always a part of. Everything else, he just kind of dabbles.
He was just on that picture for the Greg Smallwood Midnight Suns, and that's what everyone goes off of.
Right. But Doctor Strange is very specific. I don't do teams. I got other shit I got to handle. Like, whole universe I got to take care of. So no time for that shit. Trayvon, what are you looking forward to?
I'm like a dilemma because I'm excited for Daredevil, but I'm also cautious. Like I'm like cautiously excited for it because I do not know if it will be like the Daredevil that I'm expecting.
I know their writers aren't going to be there. Their same writers aren't they going to be on? Echo, I think they're going to be on.
Yeah, but okay, I don't know. I don't know what do you?
The brutality.
Again, I told you a lot of that Daredevil show does not show him landing said punches.
You still can't tell me it's not a brutal show.
No, it is. But Moon Knight was brutal also. You're only saying that because they didn't show blood, but they didn't show blood in the Batman, and that shit was brutal. That's the most brutal outside of Ben's Batman we've ever seen.
I was going to bring up Moon Knight. But yeah, look. Sure. I'm excited. I'm excited for Daredevil. I just do not know.
Violence aside, the tone will be different for sure.
Yeah, it won't be as different. Yeah, it won't be as dark, but I don't think A, you need that character to be, and B, to me, I don't need blood to define that he just like put a guy in the fucking ER. Like again, that opening scene of the Batman where he's beating the shit out of the guy, just hearing it is enough for me. I don't need to see it.
Yeah,
just hearing that was just honestly. Like, oh,
that's fair.
Oh, and here's the scarier part. I don't even know where Batman was punching him. Was that the face? Was that the chest? Was that the throat? I don't know. I just know it sounded violent as shit. So to me, I don't need to see the physical blood of it for you to hammer home how like violent I'm trying to be in this said scene.
I guess, I mean, you know what? Sure, that's fine. I mean, they just have uphill battle to me. Comparing, you have the other show right there. Like, it's going to get compared, so get ready for that. Besides that, I'm very excited for Msmarvel. I've been waiting for a character. I'm really excited to see. I like these like coming of age stories and stuff like that. So I'm excited to see what they do with the show. Yeah, I mean,
and she repping Jersey.
I don't know nothing about that, but
she repping Jersey. How do you not know that she's not repping Jersey?
I'm saying I know nothing about Jersey or any of that. But yeah, I am just be out. I have nothing about. Never been to New York in my life. So,
I am not involved. Nope.
I don't know. I don't know about that. I'm sure you'll be excited about that. Point it out for me when we watch it. When we talk about it. Tell me what you see in there. But yeah, I'm excited to see her. The game. She was like just a light at the beginning of that game. So cool. Her story and her excitement and everything. I wonder if it's going to be like that. I'm assuming it looks like it's going to be like that somewhat. But yeah, I'm excited to see the show.
Like I said, just with the Daredevil, Deadpool, Jessica Jones stuff, just think about in the vein of what the MCU has always done and how they've gone slightly dark. They will be. I don't think Daredevil will be different in the essence of what the character is. It just won't be as dark. Like that shit was shot 90% of that shit at night. like it won't be that.
Also,
dark.
it wouldn't make sense given how season 3 ended. Like,
right, he's supposed to be more lighthearted.
It was the most uplifting the show has ever been.
Right, so it was going tonally more in that vein. Luke Cage wasn't a super dark show. I think honestly, if I'm being real with you, the darkest show was Jessica Jones.
Oh, by a mile.
By far. So I'm
That's
like,
very fair.
So I'm like, there, and again, that show ended with her finding the light. So I'm like, a lot of these shows ended in a perfect way for Feige to take it and give you a different telling of the same characters that you've seen.
I didn't really necessarily say dark. I said brutality. I didn't say dark.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
The action had weight to it.
That's what I'm saying. It all comes together. Right. It all comes together. But if you're saying like the scene where Daredevil was punching the shit out of Fisk in the finale of season 3, I have no reason to believe we won't get something like that. Because to me, if Marvel can say shit, I could 100% see someone doing the idea of punching the shit out of somebody, but me just not having to physically see his face doing this with punches. Like, I still can understand that that's what's happening.
If nothing else, I feel like not the scenes in like movies across the board, seeing something like that and only hearing it, not seeing them actually get punched, kind of hits harder for me.
A lot harder. 100%.
It really does.
100%. Now, to be fair, me and Jayla are coming from a standpoint of that new Scream that came out. Seeing a lot of those stabbings was just like, oh shit! Like, I don't know if just hearing it would.
Oh yeah, quick note. When it comes to Scream 5, Jesus, the opening by itself, like when her leg, it's like
when she got stabbed in the hand. If I just heard that, I would have been like, all right. I had to see it to go, oh my god! But to be fair,
was going through some things during that. I was not expecting that.
That was just like, ooh, yikes. But in superhero stuff, I think they've been showing us that they're heading towards, and it's not just Marvel, it's everybody is heading towards. I don't really need to see it. Like The Boys is something just radically different, right? It's just radically different. It's meant to be over the top in every conceivable way. But everything else is meant to just be so like, you understand that he's getting the shit beat out of him. I don't have to, I have to show you. You don't have to see the ramifications of it.
Yeah, I mean, there's The Boys, there's Punisher, Daredevil. That's my account.
And I'm saying Invincible. And
yeah, Invincible is where The Boys is.
And if that's your gauge, Trayvon, I'm saying to know Feige is to know he'll find a way to be smack dab in the middle of that. Right in the middle of that, where it doesn't become The Boys, but it also is along the lines of, if you're 13, you could watch this and sleep soundly at night. Right? Like, you're not like in Daredevil season 1, where Kingpin was crushing that guy's head in the car. You're not going to get that in the MCU, probably. The likelihood of that is
someone
slim.
Smashes his own face on a metal spike in
that was
episode 4 or something. No,
that was like episode 4, season 1.
And,
that was like
and look,
early.
the Punisher prison scene. Like, you're just not going to get shit like that. They're not willing to do any of that. You know.
I think when I watched Doctor Strange, that's why I was surprised we saw the spike thing. I was like, oh, they should show them on the spike. I was surprised they should show us him like that.
I was surprised to see brain
close.
jelly.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think that's the one that surprised me the most.
Scene,
but
it's like a lot. Yeah.
But that's
Crazy.
Kevin showing you guys, like, hey, I'm willing to dip a toe in this shit. I'm not willing to become Quentin Tarantino with my movies, but I'm willing to get a little bit darker and edgier than I am.
They have to be willing to go back there if they ever do Punisher again, though.
No,
or else we will never see Punisher again.
That's how I feel about Deadpool.
Because one, John Bernthal said he wouldn't do it if it doesn't go back to that, and two, I wouldn't want it. Like, Punisher's the one character where I wouldn't give them any leeway.
I don't know. I felt like some of the kills in Punisher was just like, it was as over the top as Warzone, and it's like, it's cool in moments, but I don't need this character to be that all the time. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I'm fine finding a meeting in the middle to where it's like there's one episode where Punisher has that oh shit moment where, like, he does some crazy shit. But outside of that, find a balance to that shit. Like, it's sometimes, his Punisher Warzone is my all-time favorite Punisher. Ray Stevenson is my all-time favorite Punisher. But even moments in that was just like, you threw him off the roof to land on the spike fence, and then you jumped off of his head and his neck snap. Like, that's just too much. Like, I don't need all of that. You know what I'm saying? Find me a balance somewhere in there. I personally don't. I'm only speaking for me. I'm not speaking for you guys. I personally don't need all of that.
That sounds like more the boys to me. I'm looking for more like Deadpool.
I think Netflix had that balance. Like it was
Punisher,
brutal, but not over the top.
It wasn't like that.
Punisher.
Said.
Punisher's prison scene alone was The Boys. What did we talk about?
Or the gym fight from season 2.
Fight. Yeah, I don't know what
the prison scene.
I think y'all should go back and rewatch it if y'all think that there weren't extreme scenes and that we got from the Punisher in the Netflix series.
The prison scene was rough. I can for sure give you that.
It was just like, oh my God, that's a lot of stabbing. Shit. Woo. Okay. All right, let's move on. Let's head into our last few topics. Let's do best fight scene from the MCU Disney Plus shows.
It was fight scene. Okay.
Fight scene. Yeah, fight scene. Fight scene. If I didn't put fight scene, I apologize.
All right, I got mine.
No, I have one. No, but it takes away. I had 2, and I was like, "Oh, one's not a fight scene," so now I can go with the one that's just a fight scene.
All right, perfect. I feel like I know Blake's, but I'm gonna let Blake say it anyway. Go ahead, Blake. What's been your favorite fight scene?
My favorite fight scene. 2 do come to mind, and they're really close. I'll mention them both, but the one that I want to lock in is and it might surprise you, in episode 3 of Moonknight is when Moonknight is throwing down with Midnight Man's people. And I was worried at first when Mr. Knight took over, because he obviously apologized and wanted to stop the fighting, and I was like, come on, Moonknight was wrecking them. Right. And then he gets stabbed once and he's like, never mind, tag back in. And Moonknight came in and kept fighting. So I thought that was a very funny and unique fight scene. And Moonknight was fairly brutal. Like, you don't see any blood, but he didn't really let up with them. And
he did not.
The other one I liked was in the finale, like with Mr. Knight finally realizing he gets to fight, and the beautiful shot of Mr. Knight throwing his stick and it going all the way around, and Moonknight catches it.
Yeah. The camera angles of that fight scene were beautiful. But that fight scene you're talking about is exactly what I'm saying, is exactly what I'm fine getting from these Netflix characters when they brought to the MCU, because that was violent. That was very violent, that fight scene. Those poles were going through his body. Now I get it. Everyone's like, oh, I didn't see blood, but okay, cool. But they put poles through someone's body.
2 things that he did that nobody talks about. One, the guy stabs him and he pulls that guy in, so he gets stabbed on it.
Right.
And before Mr. Knight cuts in, Moon Knight's choking that guy, and you can hear his neck getting crushed.
Yes.
And even when Mr. Knight comes in and drops him, it just crushes even more. Like, he's done.
It's just an unfair narrative, because I'm like, Marvel since its inception has been pretty brutal. They're just not like in your face brutal. But I think people forget, we heard and saw Loki's neck get snapped. That wasn't off camera. That was on camera. To this day, Infinity War is the, like, outside of the Netflix shows, is the most brutal thing that we've gotten. Main MCU wise. Leaving the Netflix shows alone. But for sure. Because Infinity War didn't hold back on anything. It really didn't. So to me, I'm like, I don't really need the blood, because here's the thing. Wanting blood is wanting it to be realistic. I'm watching a guy turn into a god. The realism is already gone. So if you want to take blood away, I'm like, okay, it's yes. Would I prefer seeing the blood? Sure. I don't need it though. I just need the brutality. And the brutality is he gets stabbed with one of those jousts, and then, like you said, pulls it through him so it goes through the other guy. That's it. I'm good. I'm perfect there. I'm perfect.
I guess to me, the brutality I guess enjoy the most is the beginning of Winter Soldier. Cap was not holding back with those people
on the boat,
but there was no blood. That's my point.
It still was like, I don't know. It had some weight to it for me. Like the way he was.
Yeah.
Yes, but we're
tearing them up.
We're saying the same thing though, Trayvon.
They were dying.
Why couldn't you accept that from Daredevil? Is all I'm confused about.
Because I guess I had a different idea what Moon Knight was supposed to be.
Because when it comes to Daredevil, we're already used to that blood, so now we have to take a step back. But when it comes to Cap, the blood was never there. So I think it's a lot easier to be
But here's the difference. It's entering a new world, is what I'm saying. It's not like the MCU's entering their world. They're entering the MCU now. So now that they're entering the MCU, you know the protocol for the MCU.
I mean, but it's not like the MCU hasn't shown blood. I mean, remember
they have.
I was gonna say the Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah, they have.
That scene with U.S. Agent was very bloody.
So what I'm saying is, I'm not saying that they wouldn't do it. I'm saying if they don't, it wouldn't bother me that they don't. Is what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't be like, this is not authentic. Like, I would say, okay, I would view it the same way I did Moon Knight. I loved it. Same way I did Winter Soldier. I loved it. You know what I'm saying? And again, in that Falcon and Winter Soldier scene you're talking about, they didn't show it. It just showed him going like this.
No, but you saw the blood. You saw the blood consistently.
You did.
You know the brutality from that because
that's all
you're seeing the blood.
That's all I'm saying. So whether it's hearing someone's neck get snapped or seeing the blood just drip, you're still eliminating the one thing Trayvon's saying the Netflix universe gave him, which was showing you all that. So I'm saying the MCU has done a mix of it to where you've gotten either the finished result or you've just heard it, right?
Okay.
So I'm like, I'm fine with that in between, but I'm not saying I'm against blood. If they give it to us, I'll be right with y'all, like, hell yeah. But if they say they don't want to do it, I wouldn't be like, come on. I'd be like, okay, you didn't do it with Moon Knight, and I fucking loved it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, just how you balance it is fine. But as Blake pointed out, which was very beautifully pointed out, Daredevil's character arc was changing at the end of season 3 to where the character was becoming less brutal and more so of the Daredevil we know Daredevil to be, which is just a regular crime fighter. He's not in it to just break bones and break necks and skulls and shit like that. He's more reserved. You know what I'm saying? You got to show the difference of Daredevil and Punisher. And if Daredevil's breaking skulls and Punisher's breaking skulls, what's the difference here? You know what I'm saying? So to me, I feel like the MCU will draw that line between
one's
those
breaking
two
skulls in a red suit.
I fucking hated that suit. I hated that suit so much.
Hey, you're gonna get a phenomenal suit compared to that one now.
Yeah, for sure.
Party City gave me a better suit than that shit did. So I fully expect the MCU will do better. Jayla, what fight scene you going with?
Easy. Goblin versus Peter in No Way Home.
Oh, that's a really good one.
Makes sense. Yeah, that shit was brutal.
Oh, it's MCU in general?
Yeah, you can go MCU in general. We can open it up a little bit. You can go MCU in general.
Okay.
That was brutal. Goddamn, was that brutal? Jeez, man. Jeez. And then when Peter was willing to kill the other Peter to kill Goblin, I was just like, I'm loving all of this.
The shot when they're in the apartment and Peter's about to fall out of the glass, but he webs
himself back.
Yeah, webs himself back onto him, pulls him back in, and then they took some moves from the game that was really cool.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the quotes from Goblin in that fight are just iconic.
I don't disagree at all. And now I changed my pick because I was gonna also go with an MCU show for mine. But now you got me thinking about the fact that freaking the first Avengers movie, it took a lot from it. I remember that theater was quiet in that moment, and I was screaming with my cousin at the time when they did it. They took from Ultimate Alliance the shot of the repulsors coming off the shield.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. And then the shot of Hulk taking the one piece and slamming it into it, and then Thor hammering it in more. I was just like, the fluidity of that fight scene to end that movie, starting from when Bruce goes, "My secret is I'm always angry," and then the big punch. It's just like the fluidity of that shit, I still believe is unmatched in the MCU.
You know what? Now you bring it up. I do want to see, hopefully, and as we're getting more team ups, I want to see people using their powers together more like that.
Yes.
Yeah. I really do. I hope that's something that we get to see a lot more of soon, because that's so creative. It's so much.
I'm telling you this right now. When we get Midnight Suns, if I don't see a combination of Doctor Strange using the flames of, I can't remember, Kafka or something like that. Anyway, him using his flames and Ghost Rider spewing it from his mouth and then just combining that shit to burn somebody. Oh my God.
Chef's kiss.
That would be great.
But I'm with you. Feige does need to do that with his next set of Avengers movies. They never really work necessarily in tandem. And I know when I say that, people are like, yes, they do. But I mean more so like when you saw the shot of Thor and Cap like kicking ass with the hammers and then exchanging them. Like I instead want to see them kind of
that was great.
tandem. I want to see that in
Pure
tandem.
hype.
You know? So to me, I kind of just want to see utilize people whose abilities are similar. Have them kind of just work in tandem with it. You know what I'm saying?
To be fair, we got Moonknight and Mr. Knight working pretty good together.
Oh shit!
The
the camera angles of that was just stellar. I
love the bit where he threw the baton and then Moonknight caught it. That was so sick.
And look, as we said it before, but the chef's kiss was definitely when he slammed him through that TV shop and then just like straightened himself out. Just like, oh my God, no one can say they don't understand this character. That is him. That's him.
They knew they already did the jacket off and the sleeves rolled up, so they had to do a.
They had to do the straightening out. I was like, oh, that is so perfect. That's why I say, Trayvon, part of knowing about these characters before watching something, part of the beauty in it is you as a fan can learn to accept a lot of shit if the important shit is taken care of, right? Like, let's say if this Moonknight show didn't have a strong script, but it just nailed the characters individually really well, I could have accepted all the bullshit. All the bullshit that might have came with it. The straightening out, me getting the limo, me seeing Khonshu in a suit, all of that. Just Khonshu seeing drip. That. Khonshu drip, yes. I could have accepted anything bad that came from it. And that's what I always say. I always suggest to people to kind of get other mediums, whether it's the cartoons or whatever, get other mediums. So when you're watching something, if the script's not good, you can appreciate it for what it was and what it did accurately with that said character. So for me, that's the biggest thing I always look out for is, can you nail the character? And that's what Moonknight did. But yeah, I'm going to the Avengers movie. That circle lineup together, beautiful Hulk smash, beautiful him smirking before he just goes completely ham. And then the one scene that stands out to me always is when Hulk and Thor take out the guys in the train station, and then Thor's just like, good job, and Hulk's just like, fuck you. like I love that. I love that so much. So I'm going to the first Avengers movie for my favorite fight scene. Trayvon, where are you going with?
As everybody was talking, I want to cheat right quick. I have a list. Sorry. I'll just run down them real quick. So Agatha, the opening scene of episode 8, Wanda Vision, that made me excited because it just brought in like real magic. Like, I know you see Doctor Strange do stuff, but it's like this one like real witch shit. So I was like, yeah, this is so cool. Like, that was a surprise for me, and I did not expect that. Like, that was so cool to me. That stands out way more than a lot of stuff. Dora Milaje fight when they fighting Falcon, Winter Soldier, and all, and that room, that was she took the arm off. I was like, yes, this is wow. Captain America, Winter Soldier, the elevator fight. Anybody want to get out? Never forget it.
Yes. Never forget it.
Yeah. Shang-Chi fight on the bus. Shang-Chi, his dad and his mom fighting in the movie. Oh my God, great. And then I have Wanda Carmitage. She fucked them up. I enjoyed that. She did. I enjoyed that. Like, she's outsmarting them every turn. Oh yes, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. So yeah, there you go. That's it.
Yeah, the Shang-Chi one, I could have just went anything Shang-Chi and felt as though, anything in that movie was fucking brilliant. And talk about fluidity. The outside of her club when they were fighting on the side of the building.
Yeah.
The fluidity of that shit was just like, oh, come on. Y'all don't deserve to be this good. Come on now. And then the thought of them possibly landing Jackie Chan for the sequel. Nah. You don't deserve it. No.
I can see like him enjoying that.
No, I can't have it, Trayvon. I can't have things be that good.
I'll
thank
cry.
you. No, I can't have that. No,
I'll cry.
No. We don't deserve it as viewers. We don't talk about that movie
halfway
enough as we should. But no, I like all those picks. And like I said, the MCU has given us a lot of greatness. For all the shit people give it, The MCU has brought the thunder a lot. All right. Didge, what you putting up?
The U.S. Agent versus Dora Milaje fight. The fight itself was great, and then the one-liners in there, of U.S. Agent talking about, I have jurisdiction, and they're replying with the Dora Milaje have restriction wherever they are. I was like, they're about to beat ass already. You already know. And then at the end of the fight, with him just saying they weren't even super soldiers, like just the despair in him saying that.
Yeah,
hurt.
Love it.
That
He was deeply affected.
He was.
Like,
he was hurt.
He was so hurt. I think that fight, just because of sort of the talk around it too, was just great.
Yeah, 100%. And then the El Chapo line when Timo escaped the bathroom. Yeah, a lot of that dialogue was pretty cool in that episode. All right, everyone went, right? Jayla, you went. Yep. No Way Home. Blake. Yep. Trayvon. Okay. All right. Our last topic here. Let's do tropes and cliches that we love. Now, when it comes to this, I shout out to Jayla. This was one of the topics Jayla came up with. As soon as you said it, I said the one trope that I never want to end in any horror movie is just stupid teenagers. That's it. I need it. I desperately need it. I need it all the time. That will never get old to me. You need that because to me, it balances a horror movie, right? Where you get the adults or the other characters that are the main characters where you're like, well, clearly y'all are smarter than how the movie started with those people. You need the fall guys. You need the kids that are there smoking weed. They don't think, oh, that person's real. And then they get stabbed through a tree, or they get closed up in a bed and then stabbed 90 times, or they get put in sleeping bags and then killed in sleeping bags. It's just a beauty. It's a beauty, and it's something that I always need for me. But Jayla, this was your topic. What tropes and cliches are your favorites?
Actually, I want to ask you to swing back around to me because there's a few in my head I want to cut down.
Yeah, go ahead. Blake, I'll start with you. What are you going with for tropes and cliches?
I was just looking at some.
Okay, I can go to. I'll go to Didge.
Oh no!
Oh my God! What?
I was about to. I can answer. I was gonna buckle under the pressure.
Okay, all right. Go ahead. Let's see.
Trope that I love, and I do love and hate it because sometimes it's lazy, but sometimes I'm like, that was entertaining enough. I'll let it slide that it was lazy. Dreams. Always a nightmare scene or a dream or something. And horror movies, I think, use it more than anything for a scare because they know they're going through the story and they're like, oh shit, nothing scary is coming up. Have her have a nightmare. So that'll be our little scare so we can go another 10 minutes until we have to scare them again. Right. And sometimes it's entertaining. So I'm just like, oh, so stupid. Good job. But I don't know. The nightmare scene in the Batman, the Zack Snyder DC movies, I like those a lot. And that technically counts as just another dream that the main character's having. So
yeah, it's
very lazy, but it often entertains me. So I will say the dream trope.
Yeah, I will say that dream scene in BVS was so weird to me and out of place. I still think it was out of place.
Like, I love the scene and it doesn't make sense.
It made no sense whatsoever because I'm like, I thought the whole concept was his nightmare was the end of the world. And then you get the nightmare of Man-Bat. And I'm like, what?
Like, that nightmare is supposed to be like Justice League 2. And he has that nightmare every movie leading up to Justice League 2.
Yeah, I very much look back at that scene and I'm just like,
Ghost is the key.
I'm like, I don't really understand that.
I can go now once you're done, by the way.
Yeah, good.
I like the fake jump scare, I guess I would call it, where it's like you hear all the music tension, everything leads up to it, and you're sure it's about to be that jump scare that it's nothing. And I think what I like about it most is because typically it leads to that, and then right after it's like, well, no, here's the actual scare. And so I love the change in the change in like your emotion because you're like, whew, then all of a sudden it's, oh my God, wait. So I like that.
Okay, I think I'm ready.
All right, what you got, Jayla?
I think I'm ready.
What you got?
Because when I first came up with this, I had a bunch, and of course my mind blanked. But one that still stands out to me is the final girl. the final girl circuit, I mean, if you know about horror, or like if you're super into horror, you know that the final girl typically uses the killer's weapon against him at the end, or something that the killer uses against him at the end. I love that turn. I always love that dynamic. I love her coming out on top and like fighting against the evil. That one's always great. There's so much I could, that one. And I love like whodunits. I love the reveal moment of whodunits. Of course, it's Heavyweight Scream, but like that moment where you're just like, oh god, okay, it was that guy. It was obvious this entire time. That was always fun, even if it's like the dumbest, most redundant way that they've done this the entire time. I always love that reveal.
Yeah, I mean, and I want to go to yours, Jayla, but I want to go back to Digis for a second. I think the one time that I thought that was just done perfectly in every conceivable way is the I just completely forgot the movie. Ewan
Sinister?
McGregor. No, Ewan McGregor. It was a sequel from that old Jack Nicholson movie, The Shining.
Oh, Dr. Sleep?
Dr. Sleep.
I haven't seen Dr. Sleep yet, by the way.
No, I won't say the exact scene,
Okay.
but what they do a lot is you kind of build up and then it's like, okay, like, you know, you guys know the trope where they close the mirror, right? They open the mirror.
Yeah. And then
they close it. You're like, oh, something's going to pop up. Nothing. Then they look down to put water on their face, look back up. Then it like slams their head into the mirror or whatever. And you're like, you motherfucker. I got all worked up for that. And then like, I'm like, okay, it's not coming. And then
all of a sudden,
it is
coming.
Yeah, it's like, oh my God. Oh, Jesus. So Dr. Sleep has a lot of that. And Rebecca Ferguson is literally in her apex in that movie. Holy shit. Did I fall in love with that woman? I think she
stole the show, that movie.
100%. Easily. And here's the crazy part.
I could agree
she
with that.
She stole the show in that movie. And I still think Ewan and that little girl are top tier. So think about how much better Rebecca Ferguson had to be if I'm saying those two were still top tier.
Oh,
she was extremely great. What's up, Jayla?
This is a cliche as far as setting goes, but like Isolated in the Woods is another one that's popped in my head. That's always great.
We're all in our Evil Dead vibe right now.
We really are. Hardcore. Isolated in the Woods, nowhere to go. If you go outside, you're running to the threat. You don't have any options.
Yep. I will say, though, not to lie to you, one trope that I know a lot of people hate that I hope they never get rid of, I like the aimless running, where you're running.
That's what I would do. I wouldn't know. I would just run.
I love it. They're running, they trip, they get up. Like, I love all of that. I want all of that forever. I never want them to get rid of that. I love all of it.
Any good slasher has a good chase scene. If it doesn't have a good chase scene, it's not a good slasher.
You need it. And here's the important part. Here's the important part of a chase scene. Here's it. Like, I don't want just a regular chase scene. I need a chase scene where someone's running and the villain is just walking and they still magically catch up with them.
I don't know, man. When the villain's straight up booking it, it freaks me out. But I mean, a good chase.
No, man. Because like when Halloween Kills, what I loved about that was there were people running and he's just walking. All of a sudden they're running for an hour, take a left turn, he's right there. How the fuck did you run? No, I just walked. What kind of walking did you do? Like, I ran for an hour. No way you caught up with me walking. Yeah,
I will say the number one reason why I still defend I Know What You Did Last Summer is arguably there's a chase scene in that movie. It's one of the best chase scenes in slashers. In the first I Know What You Did Last Summer, the final girl that we get the final girl that we get should not have been the final girl. The girl that should have been the final girl was killed in this chase scene, but her chase scene was fantastic. Where she died right close by everyone was fantastic. The build up to it was amazing. It's one of my favorite chase scenes. But yeah, that's it.
Yeah, no, I really enjoy that. Trayvon, you got to bring the thunder now, man. Which it doesn't have to be horror movies. We just so happen
the action
to go with
hero getting
movies.
One last
I got one for you, Trayvon.
Roundup words.
I got one for you. You ready, Trayvon? I got one for you. I don't know if you necessarily personally love it, but I love every time like the villain goes to kill the hero and then the villain goes, do you want to know why I'm going to destroy the world?
I hate that cliche.
And the hero's just like, yeah, yeah, why do you want to kill everybody? It's like, well, I'll tell you real quick.
Absolute worst example
I
of
hate
that.
cliche.
I love it. You said the worst is what, Blake?
If any of you remember from Spider-Man the animated series, and it's bothered me even from when I was a little kid, Goblin had that time dilation accelerator, which just opened up portals.
Yes. Yep.
And Spider-Man was falling into a vat of acid. He was done. He was not out of webs, but he was falling into it. And at the last second, Goblin opened a portal and grabbed him and said, I must savor this moment. I can't believe I'm finally about to defeat you. And Spider-Man's like, okay. It just goes into that portal and done.
That's why I love Kingsman so much. The end of the first
kills
Kingsman
me.
really was a great
that trope drives me
version of that
nuts.
trope.
It's the worst.
I think Kingsman actually did it perfectly. Where
Yeah, exactly.
Sam Jackson shoots him.
Oh yeah.
Point blank right in the face, and it's just like, oh, he didn't really do the whole long dragging out so the hero can get away.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a trope I love. But go ahead, Trayvon.
I'm trying to think. I don't know. I guess it's the trope. I don't know.
Just say it.
Because it kind of goes with what Blake said earlier about the nightmare. I guess for me, it's like they show you like a scene of something that did not really happen, but you kind of like, you ain't do that. Like, and then you found they really didn't. Like, I think the craziest one was, I mean, I don't know how many you watched Twilight, but in the last Twilight,
I know what you mean.
Like, that was so, like, because I think I saw it in the theater, and it was just, they had this whole scene, this whole big battle, whole fight, everything. And I was like, this is badass, cool. And none of that shit happened. I was like, wait a minute.
Nope.
Are you serious?
Now, hold on.
They stood there and just had a peace summit.
That is crazy.
They stood there and had a peace summit.
I love
you got that big ass fight
too.
scene. Yeah, you get that big ass fight scene, and then right after that, they're just
so
like,
many people died.
Yeah, they're like, hey, you go home, and you go home. And they're like, okay. And it's like,
balls on the creators for that.
Yeah, that was crazy. I was like, wow.
I love it.
Yeah,
but wait,
stuff like that. And the Insecurity, like in Insecure TV show, I think that makes me think about it too. Issa, like, there was something going on, and she'll get like, especially when she, I think it was the last season. I hope about spoilers, whatever. She threw a baby.
When
she threw the baby.
That's so funny.
That's immediately what I thought of when you said it.
It was so funny.
Yeah,
like stuff like that.
That
I enjoy it, but then it's at the same time, I don't know.
So wait, so I want to go back to this really quickly because I don't want to forget this. Jayla, are you referring to like when the narrator's like, "Oh, you think because I'm narrating this movie, I don't die at the end"? You mean that?
No.
like the
Unreliable narrator, like when like we're in the perspective of a character that doesn't see reality as it is. Let's say, geez, now it can't. Shutter Island.
Like, I was just gonna say Shutter Island.
Shutter Island is a perfect example of an unreliable narrator, where you can't trust what we're seeing on screen. Oculus is another good one because you don't really know what's real or not. You're not really sure. Moonknight is an unreliable narrator as well.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. Yeah, I like that. I'm with you there. I'm with
always
you there
for that kind of thing.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm completely with you there, and that's why I said Wanda Vision, when we get mutants, is going to be a very fun thing to look back on because, as you can see, it's a very much distorted reality of what Wanda thinks happened. She kept telling people, no, it just so happened to not explode. No, you made it not explode. Like, what are you talking about? Her finding out that she had the abilities in her always, and it kind of just brought itself out with the exposure of the Infinity Stone.
That's one thing I do like about the MCU. I like that they keep doing stuff like that, especially like with the like in Spider-Man Far From Home. Quentin Beck was like, I was working for Tony Stark, and it like about he made the whatever that thing is.
Actually,
like, the way they go
three
back
of the movies do that.
And do stuff like, it's neat. Like I like that.
Yeah, each three of the movies do that because remember, the first one. Toombs was the cleanup crew for Avengers. They were the cleanup crew, but we never got to see anybody clean up. But they were like, we were the cleanup crew right after that, after the events of that. Then you get to the second one. Quentin Beck's like, I was there during the Civil War whole thing where he was doing the thing. And then the most recent one, I'm trying to think of what the callback one was for that. I don't remember. I'm gonna have to rewatch that.
I mean, the WandaVision thing you just said is like a full on like the way they explained that, how they went back in her past and kind of like explain stuff that we never knew.
Right. But that's one of the things I'm always
Like
my
that.
biggest thing as we wrap this up. My biggest thing with Kevin Feige is I sometimes just wish he would wait on certain things. Because I think and again, I'm not saying wait on the Wanda thing because you never knew that Fox acquisition was going to happen. But the fact that you dropped Age of Ultron and your very next movie was Ant-Man that introduces Hank Pym was just
we don't talk about that.
Who the fuck did that? Who told you that made anything?
I think-
that now.
Yeah, it's
We
the
don't
very
talk
next
about
movie.
that.
And I'm like, who
like that's
thought that
more
was a
of
good idea?
The popular guy is Iron Man, so
Again, not arguing with you with that.
Yeah.
I understand that's why they did that. My issue is
To cause
if
insult to
Ant-Man
injury.
was 5 movies down the line, cool, no problem. It was the very next movie. So I'm like, the accurate guy that built him was I would have been fine if Stark said this. I would have accepted Age of Ultron for what it was. If Stark said, I'm thinking about we kind of maybe make this AI something that can maybe work for us so we don't have to do what we do. And he's like, I got the original designs from someone my dad used to hate.
Exactly what I was thinking about. It sucks that
yeah.
Hank used to work with
Right.
Howard. So
He
it's
used to
kind of
work
like
with him. Right.
right
so
there. It's
his
right
banner
there,
would have
but-
been like, who are you talking about? And he's like, Hank Pym. He's somebody my dad used to beef with a lot. And it's like, oh shit, okay. So these were Hank's original plans that maybe Stark stole. Cool, I'm fine.
yeah, they had access to all of that. They definitely could have did that. Yeah.
That's all I'm saying, Trayvon. That's
fair.
all I'm saying.
asking for too
That
much.
is all I'm
Sorry.
saying. That's all I'm saying. Look, I'll even go as far as to say you mentioned Wakanda in Age of Ultron. They go to Africa. You're telling me we couldn't have had King T'Chaka be a cameo in that? Not even as Black Panther, just as King T'Chaka. When they did remember the news when they were flying back? They were flying to Hawkeye's hideout, and you were hearing on the news of all these people died, and Hulk was kind of just going. Banner was going through it. I would have loved if King T'Chaka was the person speaking up on Africa's behalf.
When did they mention that?
Say it again. Age
What
of
movie?
Ultron. Age of Ultron.
Was it? I sometimes think about these movies when Feige had full control and when he didn't.
Feige's
that-
always had full control
I thought
of the MCU.
I thought
from day one.
Ike Perlmutter was more in control than he
No.
was.
He does
Batman.
television. He does television.
Mm,
Ike
That
does
is-
television.
Pretty
At
sure.
a time, he had pull in the movies.
Yeah.
I don't know if he had
There was
more
beef
pull
with
than
That's
Civil
Kevin.
what's-
War.
Yeah.
That's when
There
he
was
got
what?
axed.
Say it again, Blake. I didn't hear you.
There was beef when it came to Civil War.
Yeah, he didn't want to pay Robert Downey Jr. to be in that movie.
And it was
Also, I'm
Um,
pretty sure Kevin
toys.
Feige said he wanted a Black Panther and
He
Black
did.
Widow movie
Captain
way early
Marvel,
on.
Right.
all that type of
Yeah.
stuff.
No, but I'm saying you mentioned Wakanda. You
Thank
mentioned
you.
Vibranium. Vibranium was very much a big thing in Age of Ultron. I feel like it was never spoken about in the Black Panther movie. Hey, we really got to make sure this shit doesn't, fall into the wrong hands again because of the events. It just kind of just passed by, and I'm like, that would have been really awesome. But once again, guys, we will be going live again tomorrow night to break down the trailer for Thor: Love and Thunder. I cannot wait for that. You guys, I don't know what Jawan you'll get. It depends on how Gore the God Butcher is represented in that trailer. I can tell you that.
Will
I can tell
AJ
you
be
that.
on it? Will AJ be on it?
AJ works, and I think it's best that AJ's not.
Damn
a part
it.
of that.
I
I
just-
think it's
I
best.
think it'll be fun either way.
It's best because AJ goes off of pure raw emotion.
Yeah, and I
And then he calms
It's been
down.
intense.
Yeah, then he calms down and he's like, you know what? I'll wait for the movie. And I'm like, but you just spent an hour in. in
I
90
look forward to his
tweets.
tweets. I look forward.
I'm blocking AJ that night. Because I'm already gonna build my own opinion off of how they go about Gore. So I don't need AJ adding fuel to my fire. So I'll just stay off Twitter. But I will be breaking that down. I'll see who from this panel will be available to join for that. Me and Joel will definitely be a part of that panel, though. And I can't wait. I'm hoping it's nothing but good things I come to you guys about with this trailer. I really do. I want this movie to stand out. That's my all-time favorite comic, is that entire run. The entire run of Gore the God Butcher that leaks right into Mighty Thor.
So no pressure.
No. Again, I don't need you to be exactly like the comics. I just need the important parts to be hit on.
Right.
Like Gore has to massacre on screen, not through dialogue. Has to massacre a lot of gods, like a lot of gods. Even the comic books made up gods for him to kill.
Khonshu counting his days.
Yeah, Khonshu was just sitting there, just like, how can I not be in this? Like let me
Khonshu goes quiet for once in like a million years.
Look, I can see Khonshu going up to Gore just like, hey, tell you what, you don't kill me, I'll tell you where they fucking hide out at. And he's like, oh, okay, I'll take that deal. But yeah, so I'm very interested in seeing how it all plays out. Like I said, seeing Basset in that photo is definitely something that's still sticking in my mind because Boss was never in the MCU introduced to being anything but just an entity. Right. So seeing you put it in a human form right after Moon Knight makes me believe it's an avatar. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm to believe that one has something to do with the other.
Yeah,
so I'm curious to see how this all pans out. But like I said, I'm here for Thor and Gore. That's it. I don't care what you do with Mighty Thor. I don't care if you do with Valkyrie. I'm here for Thor and Gore. That's it. So I can't wait to see how that plays out. But I want to thank Didge, Trayvon, Blake, and Jayla for joining me on this episode. We had a lot of fun. You guys are rock stars in the comment section. Wait. Sorry. We got one last comment. I don't know if you'll get Hercules, but you'll definitely get Zeus. All in the Game says MCU could do with a slight scaling back to help with the overall storytelling and VFX quality control. 3 movies and 3 shows a year instead of 4 movies and 5 shows a year currently. I'm going to tell you right now.
It's going to get worse.
I'll take the amount of shows. We're going to get more. I'll take the amount of shows and movies I'm getting if you're telling me I only get one bad thing out of the 6 that I've gotten so far. If you're telling me that's the percentage that I got, one bad one out of 6, I'll take it. And again, I can take spotty VFX. I've been watching Tony Stark remove his helmet, and that never looked good for like 20 years now. So I'm like, if I can stomach that, I'm fine. It just can't be that bad. Like Wolverine Origins. Wait, say it again.
I'll just.
No, I didn't hear you.
I said Nanotech looked great in Infinity War, though.
Yes, it did. It did. But those scenes where you see him sitting down or doing anything with just no helmet, no bueno. But again, Marvel's VFX has not been, or storytelling has not been as bad as X-Men Wolverine's Origins. That's where I'm gauging. As long as you're never that bad, I can stomach it. I can stomach it, you know? Because I'm like, there's lines here. It's not Thor Dark World bad. It hasn't been, I don't think anything's been that. No, I almost just lied. No. Okay. Maybe you do need to scale it back a little bit. Maybe you do. Maybe, because right as I said that, I'm just like, no, all of Falcon and Winter Soldier. So I'm like, no. Maybe scale it back just a little bit. Just a tad. Just smidgen. But if you do specials, those are like, because I know James Gunn said the Christmas special he shot during Guardians 3. So I'm like, there should be no drop in VFX or storytelling or anything.
This is done in the movies, yeah.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's essentially shot the same way he shot the movies. But look, even The Mandalorian, great storytelling, great VFX. I still saw Homeboy in the jeans and jacket in that one episode of The Mandalorian. So I'm like, even The Mandalorian be messing up sometimes. Yeah. So I'm like, it happens. I just don't think anything's been awful. Though. Say it again.
They need to share that technology got over there at Star Wars.
What do you mean share it? You do know it's Walt Disney.
I don't think they are sharing the.
No, I just don't think. I don't think anyone in Disney.
And all that.
I don't think anyone. I'm sorry, not in Disney. I don't think anyone over in Marvel has just utilized it. I don't think it's like off limits.
You should try it.
I just don't think they've utilized it. But yeah, let's see if All in the Game had a response before we get out of here. Need higher standards than that. I don't have it when it comes to superhero movies. Sorry, I lost all of it. Everyone's been stripping me down for the last 2 years of lower your standards. They don't have to do everything like you know it. So now I'm just like, well, fuck it. Is this costume accurate? I'm happy. At this point, that's what I've been reduced to. So if the costume's good, I'm good. I just told you it saved all of Falcon and the Winter Soldier is how majestic he looked in that fucking suit. I take what I can get out here, Jayla. So for me, look good doing it, you got me. I'm there. But all in the game, I want to thank you. I haven't heard from you in a while, so I'm glad you definitely popped back in. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you guys stay tuned for this upcoming Friday, Kenobi. We will officially be in Kenobi week. Cannot wait to be draped down in Kenobi. Oh, I cannot
Bless
wait.
you.
Oh, man, and look, I'm telling you all this right now. I might have to make that Kenobi show limited in panelists, because I'm telling you guys this now. Me and Sabrina will talk for an hour each. I'm just telling you this now. Sorry. Let Darth Vader show up in these first 2 episodes. Blake, you already know. Come on, Blake. Let him know, Blake. Let him know, Blake. Let him know what's gonna happen, Blake.
Dying for more Darth Vader content. Like that's
I
love Obi-Wan, but I'm going for Vader. Like I want to see him in his ruthless era.
I said this, but Ditch, I don't think you were a part of this. I said this yesterday for you and Jayla to hear. I said instead of Kenobi having a season 2.
Oh, I was still there.
Oh, you were still there for that.
Yeah.
Okay. So just to repeat it for the audience now.
And then Jayla should hear it too.
Instead of having a season 2 of Kenobi, just pick up where you left off of Kenobi, but just now through Vader. So it's Vader's arc, right? So you're kind of just passing
Dr. Aphra in live action, maybe?
You could do a lot with that. I would even like them to, even though it's a different time. Actually, no, that doesn't work. Never mind, forget that. But yeah, just do it through the lens of Darth Vader now. So Kenobi is still doing what he's doing, but it's now the flip side, and we're seeing it from Vader's point of view. I would love it. It would make you all the money in the world. I guarantee you, if you're Disney, just do it. Pull the trigger on it. Don't even think about it. Pull the trigger. We want Vader. We want Vader. All in the Game says they are currently building more of those volume sets. Love and Thunder is the first MCU project to use the volume tech instead of traditional green screen. Yeah, I think the only thing that was really a lot of green screen was apparently whatever scene that we're going to get of Jane transforming into Mighty Thor, I think is where they had like a green screen backdrop for that. I could be wrong though. So that goes to what you were asking, Trayvon. So they're using some of the other technology they got over at Disney. Because I find it hard to believe that Star Wars is able to just say, no, you can't touch that shit. No, you can't use it. I imagine Disney's just like, hey, we like billions of dollars.
Well, I wonder how many areas of it did they have? Like Star Wars seemed to be filming quite a bit right now. So like, I mean,
yeah. Well, remember for Marvel, they're almost exclusively Atlanta when they shoot. They shoot usually in Atlanta. It's usually always in Atlanta. So Disney sometimes shoots right there on the sound stage that they have. They don't usually go out to different locations. And again, I think the biggest difference you got to take into effect, Trayvon, is you're trying to impose an entire galaxy, right? In the MCU, you're just trying to showcase me New York. You know what I'm saying? So it's completely different. I think James Gunn would be somebody I would have liked to have seen utilize a lot more of that for his movies. But, you know, it makes sense for what they're doing in Marvel. But all right, guys, stay tuned for Friday, 8:30 Eastern, for our Kenobi breakdown of the first 2 episodes of Kenobi. And I will be getting with Jayla to do a Stranger Things breakdown sometime that following week before Friday. Maybe a Wednesday show. We could do a Wednesday show where we break down. Yeah, we break down Stranger Things. So I'll try to do that so we can talk Stranger Things so we don't kind of get lost all in Kenobi and forget about it. Because look, it's going to be dangerous for me. Right before Kenobi ends, I'll be entering Msmarvel. And my mind is solely on that. So if I don't get Stranger Things done before Msmarvel comes out, you'll never get it out of me.
That comes out in June too.
You said what comes out in June? Yeah,
something
June 8th
else does.
Yeah, The Boys.
Yeah, The Boys. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is The Boys.
Yeah, The Boys.
June is a busy month.
Yeah. Sorry, Jayla. We got to make sure we handle that Wednesday.
My birthday.
Okay.
June is a busy month. Yeah,
it's very busy. But all right, guys, stay tuned. I will be breaking down. I did get a chance to see that Mission Impossible 7 trailer, so I'll be breaking that down with Joel tomorrow. Fucking looks majestic. Goddamn, Tom Cruise. Damn, do I love you.